It's like we're back in the studio. Los Angeles, 1997.
That's a good analogy.
Brett Gurewitz behind the controls. This is Brett.
I don't need to tell the truth, but I never lie. I don't need to bow to you. You're just passing by. I never wanted to be the one you bitch and moan and come home to. But as long as you look good, I'll come back to you. Get inside my troubled mind with all of your threats. Sometimes I think I was blind. Not before we met. I never wanted to be the one that you depend on for your life. When you cry, it smells like soup. Sound like Shona night. Never feel though I said all night. I gotta ride. Each time I said all night. No, I just might. You make me stay all night. It's just that side of you tonight that makes me stay all night. I'm gonna stay all night. You're an evil little girl. I'm a twisted man, tearing through your perfect world. Make you understand. I never wanted to be the one you bitch and moan and come home to. But as long as you look good, I'll come back to you and do the things you do. Stay all night. I gotta ride. Each time I stay all night. No, I just might. You make me stay all night. It's just that side of you tonight that makes me stay all night. I'm gonna stay all. I would never treat you bad. You deserve the best from me. If you want to keep your place, you better get down on yours.
Yeah, Todd wrote this one.
Yeah. You think?
This is not mine.
Stand all night, I gotta ride. Each time I stand all night, no, I just might. You make me stand all night. It's just that side of you tonight that makes me stand all night. I'm gonna stand all night.
R.I.P. Todd.
Text the round robin your questions, comments, wagers. Give us a reason. Sleeper fantasy play, your best alternative line, whatever you have. Text the round robin 757-354-5517.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose cross stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, take us as star-spangled banner yet wave, for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
This is the Deep End Broadcasting Network.
You are tuned in to the Round Robin with Stephen Murray on Deep End Broadcasting.
streets, no money left to spend. Still thinking about the night before my brain is on the bed. Way up ahead, I see the crowd flashing through the lights. I've never seen the college.
The lovely tones of the Pie Tasters kick us off on this Thanksgiving 2024. This is the Round Robin. I am Stephen Murray, broadcasting live from our Chicks Beach studios in the lovely Virginia Beach, Virginia, the United States of America. Good morning. Happy Thanksgiving. Wherever you are in this world, whether you're in the kitchen, prepping for the family and friends today, whether you're sitting on the patio drinking coffee, whether you're traveling the interstates across this great country, wherever you are, keep us on here for the next couple of hours and let us get you prepped for your Thursday and Friday NFL action. 4 games on the slate, and we will go through, like we do every Sunday, every wagering angle on the board. We still will be live this Sunday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, with our usual show, and we'll go through the Sunday slate then. But our focus for this Thanksgiving will be to look at today's 3 games and then the game tomorrow as well. All right, if you're new to the program and you have not tuned in before, let me kind of break things down to you a little bit. We are not your typical wagering show. We're not looking for closing line value. We're not looking to get the best spread per se, although we are the best numbers. We're not looking to put down $500 to win $500. We are simply here to invest the minimum to make the maximum reward, a style that is really frowned upon in our gambling universe. People say you can't win these parlays. You can't. You're a sucker if you're betting $10 to try to win $2,500. But I'm here to tell you this, that we can definitely put down $10 to win $2,500, $5,000, even $8,000 or more. And by the time we collect that money, we will not go, for example, $2,500 off of $10. That means you have 250 times to lose before you break even or go into the hole. So we do not lose 250 times before we win our next ticket. We will win our ticket well in advance of that. And as we are right now in this 2024 season, we are on a nice free roll. And winners again last week, where we mentioned we were worried about November being a tough month, that we anticipated it being somewhat hard and cruel and some under games. We were able to get home with some nice live action last week. And guys that we talked about during the show, Dontavian Wicks got us there on a live line. James Conner got us there with his 25 yards. And we thumped the 49ers with our Packers alt line for a nice winning Sunday afternoon. And we cleaned up in Survivor. We won our Survivor pool. Miss Kelly finally goes down. She had Pittsburgh. I had Tampa Bay. So our long 8-week head-to-head battle comes to a close. And I am now crowned the CP Shuckers Survivor pool champion. So a lot to take out of last week. We get back on the winning streak, or we hope to start the winning streak. And that record through week 11 now takes us to a nice, solid 9 winning weeks, 2 losing weeks, and 1 draw. So what do you want me to say? If you've been playing along with the show and taking some of our picks, you've been doing well. And hopefully you at least learned a few new ways to think for yourself, different ways to approach things, and got some good payouts yourself. Now, I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, this is a little bit of a lottery style, the way that we do things. But we can take our $10 and win a lot sooner than you can take that same $10 down to the 7-Eleven buy a lottery ticket and try to get, $500. You'll rarely get that, but we can turn that $10 into 500 on a routine basis on this program. Also, if you're new to this show, I'll just give you a little bit of a background about myself. I am a wagerer since the early 1990s. I think 1990 is when I made my first NFL bet with a bookie. A few years later, I worked on the other side of the book, where I saw the behind the scenes of betting with a sports book on the book side of things. So in addition to making wagers, I also am very, very experienced at taking the wagers as well. And you populate that with my long tenure in the media here of over 30 years. And we have a combined 65 years or so of betting, taking bets, and media experience all together. And really, if I wanted to separate the wagering and the bookmaking side of things and make those different combined experienced years, then we're talking about 90 years total. So I'm not some schlep off the street is the moral of the story. This program has a lot of merit, and we do very well here. So this is our third Thanksgiving special, now in our third full year. Thank you for tuning in, everyone who's been along for this ride. We hope nothing but success for you on this Thanksgiving. Please be safe. Don't drink and drive all weekend. Don't drink and drive at all, but especially this weekend. Try to really stay off the roads if you can. A lot of crazies out there. And try to relax with your family, your loved ones, and let's see if we can't win some money here on this Thanksgiving weekend. All right, what we'll do first, like we usually do, is we'll go through the updated lines. We'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at the weather. And that's another point of how this program originated. We are starting at 9 a.m. right now, and there are live content programs airing out there this morning as well. But being up early on Saturday and Sundays, myself looking for live content programming, there was none. So simply this program fills that void here on Sunday mornings at 7 a.m. Where no one is doing things live. Everything's kind of a replay from the night before or whatever the case may be. So a good point of this program is that we just fill the void of what is needed in the early morning hours of a Saturday and Sunday. All right, so again, happy Thanksgiving. Let's win some money. Let's take a look at the lines. Let's see what we have here. We'll go ahead and log on in and see what kind of crazy line movement we may or may not have for this NFL Sunday. This line looks stagnant to me, but I hear it's all over the place in Vegas right now. So monitor this closely with the Lions and the Bears. We are indoors, 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. Weather is not an issue. The Lions coming off a nice win. You can't say they sputtered on offense, but their defense played a great game, shutting down the Colts. The Lions laying at 9.5 and 47.5 is the total in that game. The Bears now coming off of back-to-back losses in which they are very competitive games. They probably could have won against divisional opponents, but they come up on the short end of things. And a tall order for Caleb Williams and company, the rookie, to go indoors today, where the Lions love this home game. They're going to try to put on a show in front of the crowd, and a tough, tall order for Chicago today in Detroit. Again, the line 9.5, 47.5. That just seems low to me. The Giants and the Cowboys, 4:30 p.m. The Cowboys are minus 3.5, 37.5. The Cowboys with one of the games of the year, probably, at least second halves of the year, considering it was 3-3 at halftime or whatever the score is. They went ahead and got, 50 points or so in the second half, 49 points anyway, with the Cowboys and the Commanders, where the Cowboys come on top on that one. The Giants were thumped at home by Baker Mayfield. Tommy DeVito was the quarterback. We expect It's going to be Drew Lock this afternoon for the Giants. So this game in Big D, I'm sure it's going to be a sellout. And a very, very angry fan base is looking to really get a home win here for Dallas. And maybe new life for Dallas, too, if they can somehow, not somehow, but if they can go ahead and scrape this victory out against the Giants, maybe we start talking about Dallas creeping up into the playoffs again in the NFC, where the 7th spot is wide open, probably up for grabs for some of these teams. I mean, you're literally going to get a team around 500 likely make the playoffs. Dallas winless at home. How about that? Jake Paul has more wins in AT&T Stadium than the Cowboys do. So the Cowboys look to put that to an end today with the Giants. And the Giants probably ripe for the picking for a Cowboys team that needs the win in Dallas today. And what we think will be maybe the most competitive game of the day, really, the South Beach Miami Dolphins take their nice warm weather act on the road into a nice frigid Green Bay at Lambeau Field, a tough, hostile environment at night. Cold game for Tua. We know how the Dolphins do in cold weather, not very good. And they'll have another opportunity tonight at Green Bay. Miami, though, trending maybe the right way. They put up some points against New England last week. Probably had their best game in several weeks, if not months, against the Patriots last week. And they'll play the Packers, who are coming off a butt-whooping of the 49ers at home, where they've been sitting comfortably since last Sunday. And they will welcome in the Dolphins. Now, Green Bay is kind of a mutter. They like the bad weather. It's not going to be rainy. It's not going to be cloudy. It might be cloudy, but it's not going to be rainy, maybe a little windy. But that doesn't affect Green Bay from everything that we've studied on them all season long. The Packers, fine in those conditions. Miami, that's a question mark, big time. So we shall see. Green Bay Dolphins tonight, 8:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll have temperatures around 40 degrees and sunny skies tomorrow in Kansas City when the Raiders come into Arrowhead to play the Chiefs. The line 12.5, 42.5. The Chiefs scraping by the Carolina Panthers on the road last Sunday. And the Raiders coming up short, trying to backdoor the Broncos at home. They are 10-point losers to Denver last week, but this is a rivalry here. Do they have enough in the tank to stay close to this Kansas City team that they beat last year in Arrowhead on Christmas Day? And the Chiefs, how about this? Just 2-9 against the spread in their last 11. The smoke and mirror Kansas City Chiefs, who just find a way to win at the end of a game, don't cover point spreads. Can they cover this big 12.5 number against the Raiders? So my first thoughts are this. You're not going to make a living betting the favorites. You just aren't in the NFL. Every game, you cannot bet a favorite and expect to come out on top and be victorious. But I'm having a hard problem here trying to make, at least today, trying to make, and probably tomorrow. I mean, I don't want to lay the big number with the Chiefs, I don't think. I think I'd rather take a team points angle with the Chiefs. But I'm having a hard case here, making a case for any of the underdogs in Chicago and the Giants especially. The Colts definitely chasing me away from backing Miami. But I think if there's any competitive game today, it has to be this Dolphins-Packers game. This number just seems too cheap to me with Dallas laying 3.5. You got to figure that they're trying to just get right a little bit after what's been a really tough season. You have this Giants team who has an offensive line as a turnstile. They're on a backup quarterback themselves. You just figure Dallas has a few more pieces to the puzzle than the Giants do in that game later this afternoon. And what else can you say about Detroit? Even if Chicago does play well, Detroit is such a juggernaut and on a complete mission to hoist the Lombardi trophy at the end of the year. They're at home. This is their game at Thanksgiving.
I'm just hard-pressed to see the Bears come in here and beat the Lions in some kind of shootout type of game. Now, I'll admit 47.5 does seem low, but the Lions can get that themselves practically. I mean, at least score in the high 30s. I expect the Bears to score some points. I think their competitiveness will kind of be a boost for them today in Detroit, and they'll play better. But still, it won't be good enough to hang with the Detroit team that can simply outclass them at the end of the day. So I like the favorites here. I will never really say that, especially on the Thanksgiving. I'm always looking for an underdog angle. I loved Green Bay last year. I loved Green Bay against Detroit last year. But I don't like it today. I just don't. I don't like the Bears in this role. Could they come out and light it up and go crazy? I guess they could. But I got to go with the Lions here. They've been nothing but phenomenal. You got to think that they're going to be just fine at home. I know there's potential injury issues with St. Brown, with Montgomery as well. I have them both listed here. But I would take Detroit in this game. Now, if you're worried about Detroit covering a big number, you can always go with the straight team total here. I mean, 29.5 sounds like a lot for Detroit, but they should be able to get into the 30s into this game. And the Bears, the Bears are at 18.5. I wouldn't doubt if they get over that number as well. I mean, this has the makings of a 38-21 game to me, maybe 41-20, something along those lines today. But I do like the Lions to roll in this game. I do like the Cowboys probably to roll the Giants more so than I'd like anyone else to roll another team. I just think the Cowboys are going to have a good day here today. CD Lamb hasn't seen the end zone in forever. We could see that happening today. I mean, I think he's a great shot for a wager today at plus 175 for a touchdown. I mean, you can't get that price all the time, a CD Lamb. So you're getting a good number there. And I would look for him in a touchdown parlay with maybe like Devin Achane tonight for Miami, or a Jacobs, we should say, and a Jahmyr Gibbs parlay, something like that. All right. So I like all the favorites at home today. Let's see what the crew thinks about that as we go throughout the morning. We'll stay with you till right about a little bit after 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. What we'll do here in a second is we'll queue up our man Dave Del Grande from Castro Valley, California. He is with Field Level Media. He is a senior analyst at Stat Factor. He is the founder of MrFantasy.com himself. He is also a writer for Deadspin. So we bring on Dave Del Grande. We'll go through the whole slate with him. Last Thanksgiving, he was 4-0 on his picks. So he swept the board 4-0 last Thanksgiving and Black Friday. After we're done with Del Grande, we'll come back into the studio. We'll talk a little Survivor, if any of these games are worthy of that. I think that they are. And we'll bring Nephew Dave and the Ant-Man in as well. All right, I'll get some tickets rotating up on the screen. So why don't you guys carry on with your morning. If you're doing errands, doing chores, cooking, driving, just put the volume on, set the phone aside, and you can listen. If you're trying to relax on the couch, you can certainly put on our YouTube channel, Deep End 757 Broadcasting. That's Deep End, like deep end of a swimming pool, 757 Broadcasting. All right, so without further ado, let's go out to Castro Valley, California. We're bringing our man who covers the Golden State Warriors. He is a wagering expert. Without further ado, Dave Del Grande. I guess the fan base expected a loss, but what's the pulse after losing 28 points in Green Bay with all the fans in the Bay Area?
I don't really think, there's much different from a week ago. Without the quarterback playing last week, it kind of gave him an excuse to lose. They looked at these next two games, the Green Bay game and the Buffalo game, as games that, both on the road, both cold weather, coming, just getting guys back from injury or guys injured. And I think they looked at it and said, you know what, even if we lose those two games, we've still got a shot. And the way the games played out with Arizona losing to Seattle, they're still only a game out of first. And in a division where it's turned into the NFC South. I mean, you go 9-8,
I was saying that
you got
earlier.
a chance to win the division. After this Buffalo game, they have almost all winnable games, a lot of division games where they still think they're the best team in the division. So I don't think anybody here is really concerned about how the game went. I'm not sure that's the right conclusion, by the way, because they just haven't been playing well, and they finally played a good team, and they didn't play well again, and it was a disaster. But I think that the 49er fans would like to believe that they're healthier days ahead. They're going to play better ahead, and if they play better, we just saw the Rams get blown out. We just saw Arizona, the division leader, they can't beat Seattle. I just think that they still believe that they can get in. And if they do get in, then, it starts all over again.
I've heard nothing official, but is Purdy trending the right way to play this week?
Yeah, it sounds like it. They said he threw at practice on Monday with no pain. And so they're expecting him, to amp up over the course of the week and be ready to go.
Let me play worst case scenario here, and they gave IU all that money now too as well. If things were really just to head south here to end the season, say maybe they won one more game or even maybe two, or just lost out and just hit the crapper completely, would they use that as an excuse or a way not to pay Purdy and commit to him long term?
There has been some discussion about that. I think I don't know that that this is necessarily sourced information or anything. I see no indication that the 49ers have changed their belief that he's their quarterback of the future. And also they're a team kind of like the Warriors that is built to win right now. And you got Trent Williams, and how many more years is he going to play? And McCaffrey, while he's not that old, he gets injured a lot. You wonder how many years you got with him. Are they re-signing Debo? I mean, it's just a team over the course of the next 2 to 3 years where this is their window. And I'm not sure that, they would, consider drafting a quarterback and putting him in there immediately, or B, going into the free agent market where they don't have a lot of money to spend. They do have all these guys under big contracts. If you're going to save the money by not re-signing Purdy, well, then why would you go into free agency and pay, for the sake of a name out there, Daniel Jones,
right?
15, 20 million a year. Well, that doesn't make a lot of sense, because one of the reasons for your success in recent years is that you've been able to pay big bucks to your star players because your quarterback hasn't made anything. So if that's your thinking, let's keep all our star players and bring in a quarterback, with a low end salary and keep trying to win it that way. Well, then why are you going after, this year's Darnold or Flacco or, whoever it might be, Cousins, as your fill-in quarterback? So it's still a possibility that they won't re-sign Purdy, but I'd say the chances of that are fairly slim.
Do you like the? It's interesting you brought him up. Good segue. In fact, last week when we recorded our conversation, I was telling you how the Daniel Jones press conference just seemed really, really bad. And lo and behold, after our conversation and before the show aired, he was cut by the Giants. But do you like the move here for Minnesota? I mean, they have nothing to lose with that, right?
Absolutely. I think that Daniel Jones. There's no reason Daniel Jones can't be every bit good as somebody like Darnold, that they already have, that they've already brought in and kind of resurrected a little bit. I mean, you would, if you rated right now the top backup quarterbacks in the NFL, I mean, a guy who's ready to come in and play immediately if a guy would get hurt. I mean, you'd have to put Daniel Jones at or near the top of that list. You don't think the Cowboys would kill to have a guy like that ready to step in? I mean, and many other teams. Look at the 49ers. You don't think they'd kill to have Daniel Jones in there last week rather than the guy they threw in there? So I think it was it's interesting that he ended up in Minnesota. I don't know what the thinking was. But because I'm sure a lot of teams were interested, basically getting him for free. But I think it was a really good move.
All right, here. The Eagles, impressive down in Los Angeles on the night game last. That was Sunday night, correct? Yeah, they had the two games there, SoFi, Sunday and Monday. So I'm trying to recall 3 days ago, the Sunday night game with the Eagles and the Rams. Barkley looks good. I mean, obviously, big regrets probably on the part of the Giants, but again, they won't have to pay him at the end of the day. You were not an Eagles fan here at the beginning of the season. Have you completely switched your thoughts on them completely at this point?
Well, yeah. I mean, you have the way they're playing defense. Yeah. I mean, I mean, they've surprised me the way it's come together. I kind of sensed, feared that it would be a boom or bust season for them. I mean, they were, they were on the edge. There were some things that were happening early on that I thought, oh boy, these are not good signs, for a team that's kind of teetering. But everything's gone right, and they're a very, very serious contender, both in the NFC and overall.
That would be an interesting playoff matchup with San Fran and the Eagles, Part 3 in the playoffs.
Well, someone's going to have to play Detroit too. I mean, it's not
in earlier rounds, not in the later rounds. In the earlier rounds, I'm assuming. Yeah,
it's not what Detroit wants to see. I mean, Detroit fans, I'm sure, have looked at the 49ers ever since last year's playoff game and said that's our target. That's the team we got to beat. We got to take that next step. We got to pass the 49ers, and then we're on to the Super Bowl. And they've done that, and lo and behold, now a new obstacle has appeared, and so that has to be a little scary for them, because now you're looking at, with the 49ers sitting there as a possible early round opponent for either the Lions or the Eagles, and that is doomsday. I mean, you don't want to have to beat the 49ers before you even play the Lions or the Eagles. So, be interesting to see if 49ers even make it. Where are they going to land in the bracket?
All right, the Commanders had a great start, but now they're really starting to stumble, and they couldn't even stumble bad enough here down the stretch. Not the easiest of schedules. Maybe even fall out of playoff contention themselves. But I guess everything that they've done positive from here on, from the beginning of the season until this losing streak. I mean, if it goes south here, then, I mean, you don't get much satisfaction out of that. Although at the end of the day, even if they're 500, that's probably better than what you thought you're going to get out of them anyway, right?
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that you would look at in terms of positive outcome to the season would be, where's Dallas headed? I mean, for years, the Giants, I mean, the Commanders especially, because the Giants actually used to be a pretty good team, and the Commanders found themselves looking up at three different, good opponents. Now that the Giants have fallen back, now you're just looking up at two, and now you wonder, is Dallas even one of those teams anymore? And if they aren't, now all of a sudden you've become a solid number two team in your division, and moving up. And, and when you're in that position to start of the season, then, well, geez, if we're going to finish second in our division, we're probably going to make the playoffs. So it's a really nice thing to go to training camp with the feeling that, hey, we start off as a playoff team, and let's not screw this up, as opposed to going in thinking, oh boy, we need to have a miracle season, and we need Dallas to do poorly, we need the Giants to do poorly. I mean, you don't need to worry about anybody else anymore. They just need to worry about themselves and take another step forward next year, and they'll be that playoff team again.
Yeah, Dallas. They have cap issues too. I mean, they don't have money to go out there and get anyone else to.
Well, who doesn't have cap issues?
Good point. Okay, let's get to the slate of the games. And over the weekend, we'll follow up on everything that happens here in the next, 48 hours or so. All right, and Dave, last year you're 4-0 on your Thanksgiving and your Black Friday play. So nice winner. I believe you had a Montgomery touchdown. I want to say you had a Lamb touchdown. The night game, I forget who even played at this point. Was it Seattle and San Fran, maybe? It might have been, yeah.
I look forward, not back.
Yeah. And then if you remember the Jets and the Dolphins, you had Jets' first drive result a punt. If you recall that,
yes, I do remember that.
Okay, all right. So let's see what you can do here for these three games and Friday. And I guess if you have a no play on one of these, that's just the way we're gonna have to go with it. All right, first game, Lions 9.5, 48.5. I've heard a lot of people make cases for all these underdogs across the board, which I don't get it. I mean, I do get it. It's Thanksgiving. It's the NFL. The opposite tends to happen a lot of times of what you think. It's not a great winning formula to go out there and throw down all your money on all the favorites here. But Detroit's been a complete machine. The Bears, although they've been competitive here the last couple of weeks, keeping the score close against a couple of divisional opponents, and probably could have even have won both of those games. I just think that the Lions are at another level here. The 9.5 even seems cheap to me at this point. Yes, the Lions didn't come out and put up 40 points against the Colts, but that was a home game. I mean, that was an away game. And the Colts defense somehow is one of the more trending better defenses in the league. I got to figure in this game as well that the Lions team points 29.5 is still going to be too low for me, so I would look over that. But just go ahead and give me Lions all day here. I think over the total 48.5 is fine. I think the Bears improving a little bit the last couple of weeks. I think they can definitely do that. But I think this is the same thing we kind of said with the Lions and the Colts before that game happened. 7-0 Detroit, maybe 7-7, then 14-7, then 17-7. Then 17-10, then 24-10, and Detroit just crawls away. Maybe not even crawl. He's nice slow jog away from the Bears winning this game going away. So I'll take the Lions in this matchup. They've been good to me all year with the spread. Not so great with their team points last week, but that's fine. I'll go back to the well with them again. And you know what? If we want to do the old Gibbs, Montgomery, St. Brown, Jamison, Williams prop, I'm all for that again as well. So a green light for the Lions for me. What about you?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that I think in some ways last week could serve as a wake-up call a little bit for the Lions, who were riding very, very high, demolishing everybody. And last week was almost a loss. I mean, that you're against a probable non-playoff team from the other conference. On your own, it was a road game, but on their favored turf surface. It just what happened. They did not play well in that game, especially offensively. It's not the offensive team that we're used to seeing. So I think there's all the more reason for them to bounce back this week. The coach loves to put on a show, loves to do something fancy. In these big TV games, I would fully expect some kind of crazy play or two. And I, like you, expect a blowout win. I think one of the concerns individually in the game is that Montgomery has a shoulder injury.
Right. That's the one key here.
Yeah.
So maybe leave him out of that prop and lean on Gibbs a little bit more here.
And so I wonder, if they get down by the goal line, whether he's even going to be in there or how often he would be in there. Because I think if he were healthy, he'd be the most logical guy to score points for them in a game, like I said, I think that they love to run up the score. I think that they're going to, whether Montgomery plays or not, I think they're going to put up big numbers. You mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. And I thought of, been thinking about it, and it fits this game perfectly. The other scoring category, prop, you have all these list of guys that you've mentioned, several of them already, as possible touchdown scorers. Why isn't there a line on other?
Right.
Because this is the perfect week for that. Because with the Lions, they're going to throw a touchdown to a tackle eligible, or they're going to put in. They have I guess you would consider to be a fourth string running back, who they play in blowout wins, who I'm sure they'd love to see get into the end zone. I think that and then you've got the defense has a chance to score in this game. Special teams, they might try something, but I mean, anything could possibly happen in this game. I think something crazy will probably happen in terms of somebody scoring for them that you wouldn't expect. And while it's almost impossible to predict, it would be nice if they put up a 15-1 on other in this game, because I think that would be a great play.
I got is a Sion Vaki. I guess I'm saying his name right.
That's him.
Plus 950 is what he's paying right now.
There would be. You talk about a greedy parlay. that would be a guy to throw on there, because, like I said, Gibbs does score rushing touchdowns, but he's not your bruising big back. Reynolds is their third string running back, I want to say, and he's not a bruising type back. So and Goff isn't a quarterback who runs in. So if they have a lead in the second half and they get down to the 1 yard line, it wouldn't shock me to see them go with the fourth stringer and get that. Again, this is just the way the coach thinks. He loves to do something crazy when he gets a chance when the national spotlight is on. And it's few times all year is it brighter than on a Thanksgiving morning out here. And so I'm intrigued by that play more than probably anything else in this game. Although from a team standpoint, I agree with you. I'm all Lions in this game.
You can take the backup tight end here, one of the backup tight ends, Shane Zaistra. You know him, 23-1 odds. I see a line on him, but he's the kind of guy, like the third tight end, you could kind of see getting involved with everything that you just said, in a way.
Yeah, but right. But the problem is they also have that guy Wright, who catches touchdowns.
Brock Wright, 10-1.
Right. Yep. You could guess 7 or 8 different guys, and in the end, it's the it's the tackle eligible,
Right.
or
You're right.
or whatever it is. They
Yeah.
sneak the backup quarterback in there on a trick play that run a reverse to him.
The second
It's
center
gonna
is a
be-
fullback.
It's going to be something crazy,
Right.
and so, like I said, I'd love to take other in this game.
I'm kicking myself because I didn't bring him up last week, and I liked him, but I didn't even talk about him on the show, although I liked him before the show aired, and that was Roschon Johnson. I feel like for the Bears, he's trending in the right direction. Now, the Bears could end up with, 10, 13 points in this game, 17 points. So, obviously it's hard to take a Bears touchdown score. But Roschon Johnson trending the right way to you?
Not in this game. Once the Bears get behind in this game, then who knows what's
Right.
going to happen.
Right.
They have been throwing the ball effectively. They've got their receivers going. They have a chance to play from behind in this game, but I'm not sure it's through their running game. And then they get down by the goal line, and who's it going to be? Is it going to be Swift? Is it going to be Johnson? Is it going to be Williams? I mean, you can luck into something like that, and still, your guy doesn't get the opportunity. So there are better plays on Thanksgiving.
I will say this, though, on the Bears side, too. The Caleb Williams rushing yards definitely correlates to how well they do. I feel like when he runs the ball more, they are more competitive and more in the game. When he doesn't, it's ugly for him offensively. So I think the more he runs, the better off that they are. I think you can see him running in this game for sure.
I think that's generally true with most teams. And
Right.
I think the NFL coaches are finally, little by little, are starting to realize this. I mean, the more they see Mahomes
Right.
run for those key
Baker
first downs,
Mayfield, guys like
and
that.
Allen, Allen, every game gets them 3 or 4 first downs. The most deflating thing for an NFL defense is 3rd and 8, quarterback drops back, you got everybody covered, the quarterback sneaks out and runs for 8.5 yards, keeps the drive alive. And especially when you're playing a good team. And Williams, was this type of quarterback in college who ran the ball a lot. Clearly somebody has either cautioned the Bears or cautioned Williams himself that, hey, you don't want to be doing that in the pros, because you look at Richardson, look at some of these other guys. You want a long career, so don't run as much. But you're right. The games where he's run a handful of times, it's been good for him. It's been good for the team, and I don't know. I just think that as we move forward, the NFL, we're going to see a lot more running quarterbacks. Not what you would call, Tim Tebow type running quarterbacks, but just guys who are told. I mean, even you see Brock Purdy doing this more. Brock Purdy hardly ran the ball at all, and now all of a sudden they can't stop him from running.
Right. Well,
and so I think that's a trend we will see continue in the NFL.
Good point, because even Stroud, he wasn't running at all, and he's notorious for having low rushing numbers. But he's running 3, 4, 5 times a game now. Okay, primary ticket play then for this game.
I think I'd say you would go over the Lions point total.
Okay, 29.5. That will be on the primary ticket here. And on the greedy ticket, we'll go ahead and take our own Sion Vaki. Vaki or Vaki? I guess it's Vaki. I'll get better pronunciation on that at some point over the weekend, especially if he gets in the end zone for us. And,
exactly. That's when you'll learn how to pronounce his name.
All right. So on the primary ticket, Lions over 29.5 points. Okay. This other game too, and I get it. Dallas is bad. They look like a train wreck, but the Giants look like a much, much worse train wreck still to me. And I guess Drew Lock, if he ends up going, will be an improvement. We probably won't know about that maybe more until closer to game time here. Do I have a quarterback passing prop here? Nope. I don't have a Giant on the board. So they're up in the air on that. But don't be shocked if it's still DeVito. You said it yourself, Cooper Rush probably isn't the worst backup in the league. It's probably closer to one of the better backups. I got to think in this game, this finally has to be a CD Lamb getting into the end zone type of game, especially on Thanksgiving. I mean, he hasn't done it at all. Shoemaker was a great call last week as well. I could see more from him this week, but I'm hard-pressed to think that the Giants are going to beat Dallas in this game. In fact, I've heard a lot of people saying they want to take the points with the Giants. It's just 3.5. To me, that is super cheap here in the Cowboys. I think that's a nice win for them on the road. Probably gives them a little bit of confidence coming home here on the short week, beating the Commanders up there. But 3.5 seems really, really cheap to me for Dallas. I get it. I guess I could see them winning this game 17-14, 16-13 at the end of the day. Maybe the kicker props are the way to go here. But I'll take Dallas to cover this number. I want nothing to do with the Giants, and I will take a look at the Cowboys. I think I'd probably play Shoemaker on something again, but my best bet has to be that CD Lamb finally gets back into the end zone here. And at plus 180, that's a good number for me.
Well, I think the most impressive part about the Cowboys last week is that their defense showed up. And that's bad news for whoever quarterbacks the Giants.
Right.
If you can get 4 sacks, last week against a legitimate team with a mobile quarterback, imagine what you're going to do against a team with a second or a third string quarterback in there. Oh man, I mean, I agree with what you said about the Giants. I mean, this is a train wreck. This is, even now, one of the first things that Neighbors says after the game, is, well, gee, I guess it wasn't the quarterback's problem, was it? And right. So,
yeah, not a good look. Not a good look.
Yeah, right. And I think that Dallas in this game, whether he's the best backup quarterback in the league or the worst backup quarterback in the league, the way Dallas could win this game is if they, trust their defense, which I think they finally can start doing that now a little bit, especially against this opponent, but continue to run the ball. And Dowdle last week, 19 carries in that game last week. And it wasn't one of those games where, Dallas was winning 31-3. And so they ran the ball 12 straight times in the fourth quarter. And that's how he got up to 19 carries. He was the guy, he was almost a full-time ball carrier in that game, 86 rushing yards. He also caught 3 passes. He's often, had 4 or 5 targets in no matter what in these games. I think that he fits together with the defense. I mean, if Dallas is playing well defensively, why are we going to have our backup quarterback throwing the ball down the field? Sure, it would be nice to get Lamb more involved. Sure, it would be nice to get Ferguson back, which I think they will this week. But they can run the ball, I think, all day long against the Giants and win this game really comfortably. I agree with you. I don't understand the line in this game. I guess it's a reflection of how far people think Dallas has fallen, and certainly going into last week's game. I mean, everybody agreed with that, but now you wonder as they get some people back defensively, and they have that real good defensive performance, and now they're at home in their showcase game. They should be a touchdown favorite in this game, in my opinion. And so I think Dowdle for me is definitely the play this week. He's the most likely Cowboy to score a touchdown. He could rush for 100 yards in this game, I think, rather easily. He's my guy in this game.
All right, Dowdle is plus 105 to get a touchdown. Rushing prop wise, he's at 68.5 yards. and his attempts are at 15.5.
Well, I think those all go together. If he's getting 15 carries in the game, then he's most likely going to get at least one touchdown, and he's most likely to go over his 68.5 yards. Again, I just don't. I don't see if Prescott were the quarterback in this game, and thus they went into the game thinking, well, you know what, we're still a passing team. We're going to pass the ball down the field and we'll mix in the run, kind of like we did earlier in the year. But he's not the quarterback. You've got a backup quarterback in there. You've got a team that you're confident you can hold them down with your defense. Well, maybe the new Dallas team right now is more of a running team with Rush at quarterback. And, well, they don't have great running backs. No, that's true. But as long as they play one of them a majority of the time, I mean, if they were playing, 50-50 split between their backs, then throw all this out the window. But like I said, Elliott got 3 carries last week. I think they're not sharing time. So if they get a lead in this game, like I said, I don't really see them going out of their way to throw the ball. So I think that the number of carries is a winner. I think that scoring a touchdown is a winner, and 68.5 yards for Dowdle is a little high for him. But I think he could go for over 100 yards. And so maybe we bump that up and put that on our greedy ticket to, to go over 100. But ranking them in order, I take his touchdown as the top play in this game. But I'd also look at the over 15.5 carries.
All right. So we'll mark him on the greedy ticket for 100 yards. We'll go ahead and put the touchdown on here at plus 105. And do you want to put the carries on this primary ticket too?
Well, let's put it there for now and see what happens.
Okay, we'll take a look at the numbers. You know what? They won't let us parlay the carries and the touchdown.
Yeah, I was afraid of that.
Okay, all right. So we'll leave the carries.
Okay, we'll just go with the touchdown plus minus 105 or plus 105?
Plus 105.
Okay.
So we're getting plus 280 on the Lions over 29.5 points and Dowdle. Let me just mention a couple other things because these are going to be attractive numbers too on some other greedy ticket. You mentioned the Cowboys defense, plus 950 for a defensive touchdown, that's a big number for a defense to score.
Yeah, it is.
And Schoonmaker is plus 350 for him to scoot on in there. And then
you got Ferguson coming back this week.
Right.
So if I'm correct about that they'll focus on the running game.
Right.
I'm not sure I want a backup tight end.
And the other thing I'll mention is the receive yards for Dowdle is at 15.5. So that's pretty cheap too. All right. Okay. Miami and Green Bay. It's cold. And last I checked, Miami's from South Beach in Florida. And I get it. It's not going to be Kansas City cold, where people were getting frostbite and having their limbs extracted off their bodies 6 months later because they were basically dead from the frostbite. It won't be that cold in Green Bay. But the Dolphins, they're going to have a rough stretch here trying to get that last spot in the playoffs, even though they looked nice against New England and they blew my guys out pretty easily before they let off the pedal there at the end. This is a tough match for them here, just with the elements involved on a night game up in Lambeau. The price here for Green Bay is minus 3.5. The over-under is 47.5. Now, I'll give Miami a chance to, since their offense seems to be just getting a little bit better every week. And it's even though it's still bad against the Rams and the Cardinals, you got to think that Tua just kind of getting back into the swing of things, and New England was probably a good remedy for him to really get some confidence. Oh, man, John Smith, I mean, am I kicking myself for not having him every week as well? But I'll give the Dolphins some credit for putting a few points up here, but I just think Green Bay against that Miami defense is going to get a lot more. I think the coordinators for Green Bay are much better than the coordinators for the Dolphins. So, again, it's 3.5. Maybe scarier than this Dallas 3.5 that they need to lay earlier. So I'll probably take a look at the Green Bay total points at the end of the day, which is sitting at 26.5. I think they get over that. I wouldn't be surprised if this game goes over 47.5. It went over with the 49ers, and they had their backup quarterback. Green Bay able to get 38, San Fran 10. I'll give Miami credit for getting around 20 points anyway. I just think the Packers are going to get a lot more than that. So the third favorite of the day, I'll go ahead and bite it. I don't like taking the favorites all on Thanksgiving Day. I think that's a recipe for disaster. But I just don't see how these teams on the road have any success long term. So give me the Green Bay total points over 27.5 in this one. And I think the Packers win this game as well. So your thoughts there?
Yeah, I agree. Again, I agree with you, and especially what you said there. I mean, going into Thanksgiving Day blindly, you know, to me, what you think is, all right, you've got a lot of bettors on this game who are uneducated, just want some action on the game, are new to this. You know, let's have some fun on Thanksgiving. Let's have a little bet going on. And what do these people do? They run to the favorite. So the odds makers know this. They're going to bump the favorite up, you know, a couple of points, you know, to, you know, make these people pay the price. But I don't see that in any of these games. I mean, Dallas should be favored by 7. You know, why wouldn't people be taking Dallas in this game? Green Bay should be favored in this game by close to 7. And then in the first game, and you know, Detroit should be favored by 13. I don't get any of those lines. I think they're all low. And you're right. There's just something about it that says, oh, no. There's something wrong here. You cannot take the favorite in every game on Thanksgiving. But you know what? I can't figure out which one not to take. Right. So, yes, I thought Miami, you know, nobody watches Miami closer than me because they have 2 key players on my fantasy team. I thought they had their best offensive game, certainly since Tua's injury last week. They've been getting Waddle involved. You know, what's important because they can't get, you know, Tyreek Hill involved. And, you know, and they're throwing Morton Smith around the goal line, which is taking touchdowns away from Hill as well. And Achane, you know, is having a very good season. And Tua, you know, is hanging in there. So I think that offensively, they've really got a nice thing going now. Unfortunately, like you said, Miami does not respond well to weather like this. And it's bad enough that they're going to Green Bay in November. They're going to Green Bay for a late night game, you know, and that's, oh man, it doesn't get much worse than that. Now, yes, it's not supposed to be snowing. It's not going to be, you know, maybe not even raining, but you know, it's not going to be 30 degrees, you know, in that game, especially the second half, probably be closer to 20. And I just think
that's
Green
cold.
Bay,
that's cold,
you know, right. And I just think Green Bay, you know, and the elements will win out in this game. You know, the Green Bay offensively, they've got all their weapons firing. They had a very good game running the ball last week. Now Miami is pretty good against the run. So I don't think Green Bay is going to be able to do what they did last week, surprisingly, against San Francisco. They just run the ball up the middle time and time again. So I think Green Bay will have to get their passing game going a little bit more. I don't really see this as a really super high-scoring game, and just because, like I said, I don't see Miami functioning at 100% in the weather, and I don't see Green Bay running the ball really effectively. And then the weather comes into play when they're throwing the ball a lot. So, I don't see this as I'm not sure I want to take anything on the over in terms of points in this game. But the one play that to me that stands out is Kraft. Kraft has 6 touchdowns. All since week 4. He is as they get closer to the goal line, he is as popular a target as anybody on that team. The last 2 weeks, Miami, they allowed 13 catches, 126 yards and a touchdown to Bowers of the Raiders. And then last week against New England, 9 receptions, 103 yards and a touchdown to New England's 2 tight ends. So they're giving up over 100 yards a game recently, to tight ends. Kraft is he's been surprisingly good this year. He's a part of their game plan every week. Cold weather, throw the ball short. He's going to be involved this week. So I of all the players in this game, I'm going to look to him to be my touchdown scorer.
All right, Tucker Kraft. His baseline receive yards is 31.5, so that's pretty low. And he is definitely trending better just for Green Bay alone. He is where he's a little bit quiet there towards the beginning. He seems to get a little bit more every week here. Plus 230
well, he's
for
a tight end. He's not one of these tight ends that runs deep patterns and you throw the ball in the seam and to him 40 yards down the field and he catches it behind the defense. But he is one of these guys, you see this all the time with him. Green Bay's got the ball at the 20-yard line, 1st and 10. They swing it out to him in the left flat, and the next thing you know, he's breaking a tackle along the left sideline, and now he's headed for the pylon, and he's got a 15 to 20-yard game on a pass that you would have thought, given his physical stature, was going to be a 3-yard gain. He just has a way of turning those short passes into 15 or 20-yard catches. Now, he doesn't catch a whole lot of balls per game, but like I said, he tends to catch touchdowns. So, he's been very impressive to me.
All right, plus 230 for a touchdown. We'll put him on the primary ticket, right?
Yep.
Lions over 29.5. Rico Dowdle a touchdown. Tucker Kraft a touchdown. Plus 230. All that now is almost 12-1. Anything greedy you want to pick out in this game?
No.
Unless you want to take Kraft for 2. Which is going to pay big.
I don't. Unfortunately, I don't think he's that type of player. I don't know. The weather scares me in this game. Again, not that it's going to be a terrible weather game. It's just I wonder if Miami's going to show up. I mean, obviously it's a big game, so they're thinking they're going to show up. But then when they get out there, and the cold weather sets in, and Green Bay's been playing pretty good defensively. Obviously, last week they played very well defensively. I just don't know what to expect from Miami in this game, so I got to stay away from them. And then, like I said, I think Green Bay will have some success throwing the ball, but I don't see them necessarily scoring in the 30s. So it might be a game where they only score 3 touchdowns. I've already got Kraft scoring 1, so I can't imagine that somebody else is going to score 2. So not a greedy play in this game.
Okay. All right. Last game, Black Friday game. 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, noon Pacific Time. Raiders catching 12.5 now at Kansas City, 42.5. So we made a case for the favorites in the Thursday game. So here's a good one. Kansas City, in their last 11 games, just 2-9 against the spread. So they're not covering their numbers. So trying to get them to cover 12.5 is a very, very scary feat. But here are the Raiders. And Kansas City coming off a loss in Buffalo, then performed super great against the Panthers, although my man Noah Gray got me 2 touchdowns, which I was very happy with. You got to think that Kansas City is still trying to right the ship a little bit still from that Buffalo loss, only because they're going to really put that dagger into Carolina when they could have. You got to think there's a little bit of an emphasis to maybe try to do that and win this game. And the Raiders have no business being in this game. In fact, last year, I think it was on Christmas, is when the Raiders beat them, if I remember that correctly, in Kansas City. So still some things to chew on their plate for the Chiefs. I got to think that they're just going to be better than the Raiders here and outclass them. I don't want to lay this many points with Kansas City. I probably won't. I'll probably take a look at their team points more than anything, which is what I did last week against Carolina, and they were able to get over that. They're at 27.5 even money for this game to get that over the Raiders. So give me the team points here for Kansas City, and they'll probably will cover that 12.5. But again, I mean, they're 2-9 against the spread their last 11. I've been on the Kansas City smoke and mirrors game for some time now with them not being potentially as good as we think that they are. So give me the team points for Kansas City. I got to figure they'll get that at least. So your thoughts here?
Well, I mean, at some point, two things here. Number one is the Raiders have a nice history against Kansas City recently. And so you got to wonder if, I don't want to say if the Raiders have their number, but have figured out a way to keep the game close against them. And secondly, like you said, we keep waiting week after week after week for Kansas City to break out. I thought it was going to happen last week. That was disappointing. I mean, that was embarrassing last week, how poorly that game won. There's no way Kansas City and Carolina are tied, in the fourth quarter of that game last week. There's not Kansas City and Carolina, but yet it happened. I mean, everybody's looking at this game like, ooh, Kansas City, they really want to, they're out to revenge over the Raiders or what happened last year at Christmas or what have you. Kansas City's had a lot of incentive to try to play better in recent weeks. I mean, everybody's talking about how they've been lucky and they're not as good as they have been. And, this is going to be the week they break out. And it just hasn't happened. Right. And I'm tired of trying to predict it. Right.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
It's maybe they are just one of these teams that, they're good at one thing, and that is winning the game at the end. And as long as they keep doing that, they'll be fine, because there's no indication that they're good at winning the first 50 minutes of these games. The Raiders coming off a loss to Denver, but they gave Denver they showed up for that game. The Raiders don't seem to me to be the Giants or one of these teams that are just ready to throw in the towel on the season. Maybe after this week when they have nothing more to play for, then you'd have to worry about that. But this still ranks as a big game for them. I got to believe they're going to hang in there in some way, shape, or form. I can't imagine they could possibly win this game. But to predict a 2-touchdown loss, no, I'm not going there. Where would I? Yeah, you mentioned his name earlier. I mean, Kansas, the Raiders. Weakness defensively is defending tight ends. Here we go again. And last week against Denver, Denver doesn't throw the ball to the tight end.
No,
if you throw that out, you look at the previous two games, they allowed 2 touchdowns each to Gesicki and Jonnu Smith. And each of those games, that just doesn't happen very often. And lo and behold, what do we got here? Well, your boy Gray, is on quite a tear catching touchdowns. So we got a real hot touchdown scorer on one side and a very poor defense against tight ends on the other side, who they're gonna be all over Kelsey like most teams are, and so the second tight end slips out and gets the cheap touchdown. So I'm going back to the well in this game. I'm going to go with Gray for a touchdown. I think Gray, on a greedy ticket, has a chance to score twice.
Wow. All right. I like that. Okay. So now if we add Noah Gray to Tucker Kraft, Rico Dowdle, all for a touchdown, and the Lions just to get a combined 29.5, we're getting 45.5 to 1 odds. So 91
what's
to 2.
What's Gray touchdown?
Plus 270.
That's 270.
Yeah, so
Okay.
$100. We have a bonus free bet. If we do all 4 of those, we can pay out $4,560.
I think it's a happy Thanksgiving.
All right. And then let's see here. Let's put together this greedy ticket. In fact, I'll play this for this amount right now. And then I'll clear the deck here. All right. So let me clear this out. And then if we add in, a greedy style, Noah Gray for 2 touchdowns at 31 to 1 odds, which that's a nice $10 straight up ticket by itself. We'll throw in our, let's see, Dowdle for 100 yards, right?
Right.
Dowdle alternate rushing, 100 yards for Dowdle is at plus 300. And now we'll throw in our guy, Sion Vacchi. The premise of Montgomery is going to be a little banged up. They'll give him Thanksgiving off. Let's get this guy Vacchi in there because we're beating down the Bears so badly. We might as well let this guy score a touchdown. We'll go on that premise. And the Vacchi added to this play. I mean, this is going to be great. So Noah Gray for 2, Rico Dowdle for 100, and Vacchi for 1 touchdown. $10 wins $14,070. I would say that's greedy, Dave Del Grande.
You didn't even throw Dallas's defensive score in there.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be really greedy. Yeah, I guess we could, couldn't we? If we really wanted to. All right. Let me see if I can reemerge that just to see what the ridiculous payout is, and I'll let you get out of here. So let me plug Vacchi in again, and then we'll throw in Dowdle for 100. I mean, yeah, all the defenses are going to score. I mean, it's got to be. I mean, I feel like you could almost do a Lions Cowboys defensive parlay to score a touchdown.
Dallas is good at this. Dallas, they got 2 or 3 turnovers last week. They got the 2 kickoff returns last week for touchdowns or kick returns. They're good at not only taking the ball away, but taking it the distance as well. So they're intriguing when to get an opportunity like this, and this is a very good opportunity.
Yeah, that's a nice number. Okay, and Dowdle for 100 again. This is going to be huge. This might be 6 digits off $10. Let's see here. And then the last one was Noah Gray for 2. Is Noah Gray the better tight end than Kelsey right now, overall?
No. He plays well off of Kelsey. I mean, you know that every defense has someone assigned to Kelsey. I mean, he's almost like he's a wide receiver. We're gonna put you can't put a real cornerback guarding him, but your strong safety or your nickel back. I mean, a bigger guy and an inside defender is always going to be assigned to him, and that just that leaves Gray to sneak out against linebackers almost all the time, and so. You don't see him catching 7-8 balls a game, but he gets his 2, 3, or 4, gets the first down, gets the touchdown. They seem to save him for the most important situation. So, yeah, I mean, without Kel, I don't think he'd be one of those classic great number 2 tight ends, terrible number 1 tight end when they actually guarded him.
He upset me a little bit since I had Bucky Irving to score the first touchdown of the week last week. But overall, I won actually the survivor pool on Tampa Bay. And so I cashed that home last week. And Tampa Bay did nice for me overall in that game. And I was right. They got off to a fast start. First quarter winners against the Giants. Okay, listen to this payout. Dallas defense for a touchdown. Rico Dowdle for 100 yards rushing. Sion Vaki, 10-1 for a touchdown. Noah Gray for 2. $10 pays $127,687.14. I'll fly you out to Vegas, you and Mrs. Del Grande, and we'll enjoy a week by the pool after that, Dave.
We have to take Mrs. Del Grande with us?
No, we don't. We definitely do not, but I figured you want to keep her happy. Okay. All right, let's let all these games play out. I know we haven't talked on a Saturday in a while. Is that going to be okay with you? That way we'll be okay. What we
yes, it will.
All right, so we will talk Saturday
like
for
we're back
our
in the
Sunday
studio.
show. Dave, happy
Los Angeles,
Thanksgiving. I appreciate it.
That's a good Greg Gurwitz
good luck
behind
on
the
tickets,
controls.
and, we'll see how we do.
Yeah, should be a fun day.
All right, happy Thanksgiving.
You too.
I don't need to tell the truth, but I never lie. I don't need to bow to you. You're just passing by. I never wanted to be the one you bitch and moan and come home to. But as long as you look good, I'll come back to you. Get inside my troubled mind with all of your threats. Sometimes I think I was blind. Not before we met. I never wanted to be the one that you depend on for your life. When you cry, it smells like soup. Sound like Shona Knife. Never feel how I said all night. I gotta ride. Each time I said all night. No, I just might. You make me stay all night. It's just that side of you tonight that makes me stay all night. I'm gonna stay all night. You're an evil little girl. I'm a twisted man, tearing through your perfect world. Make you understand. I never wanted to be the one you bitch and moan and come home to. But as long as you look good, I'll come back to you and do the things you do. Stay all night. I gotta ride. Each time I stay all night. No, I just might. You make me stay all night. It's just that side of you tonight that makes me stay all night. I'm gonna stay all. I would never treat you bad. You deserve the best from me. If you want to keep your place, you better get down on yours.
Yeah, Todd wrote this one.
Yeah. You think?
This is not mine.
Stand all night, I gotta ride. Each time I stand all night. No, know I just might. You make me sad all night. It's just that side of you tonight that makes me sad all night. I'm gonna stay all night.
R.I.P. Todd.
The Round Robin Thanksgiving edition, 10:24 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am Stephen Murray in the studio now. Nephew Dave, good morning. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
We are broadcasting live from the Chicks Beach Studios in the lovely Virginia Beach, Virginia, the United States of America. Dave, the YouTube is doing a little bit of tricking on us. Okay, cool. Sounds like we're good.
Yep, that sounds about right.
All right, so we're good. Sounds like our audio is good to go. I was going to have you go check it, but then we did a
Right.
little on-air check with everyone else here in the universe. What's up, man? Thanksgiving football. Can you believe we're here already?
It seems like yesterday the season was started.
What we usually do after our conversation with Dave Del Grande, and very informative. I do have his ticket. I'll go ahead and flash up if you're now just tuning in. Let me get that back up here on the screen. There it is. So Dave Del Grande's anytime primary ticket today is anytime touchdown Rico Dowdle, Tucker Kraft, Noah Gray, three guys you might not necessarily be thinking of here, and the over combined points for the Lions at 30.5 total points. Actually, he took 29.5. But I bumped it up to 30.5. I hope that's not going to kill me later on. Oh, man.
Is that 1 point?
All right. I know. Here we go. We'll throw in the old Kevin imitation here in a second. Yeah, so if we get to 30-10 for a final.
Damn it.
Exactly. It'll be brutal. But I think the Lions get into the 30s anyway with ease. So relative ease, somewhere early fourth quarter, late third quarter, they'll sail past 28 points. All right, Dave, I can't believe we're here, man. I mean, moral of the story, week 12 underway. Last one more week of buys and a full slate this week. Survivor pool, you were knocked out last week, right?
Yep. Almost had the split, though. Oh, Carolina came so close in that game. How much more exciting was that game than we thought it would be?
Right, exactly. And then my game, Tampa Bay, was an easy winner. And my competition, Miss Kelly, had Pittsburgh. And I didn't really realize that until late second quarter. And by then, it was over with.
Oh, yeah.
So that was a good way to kind of watch that and sail that one home without a sweat. So let's go through Survivor, Dave. Let's go through to all the games right now. You got the games ready to go?
Yep.
Let's get some updated lines with the 4 games we have now. And then we'll go through the rest of the list with Survivor. Obviously, I think there's a lot of people you could take today. Go ahead.
Yep. So we got Chicago is in Detroit taking on the Lions, the early game. Minus 9.5 for Detroit. Over under here. Maybe a very achievable 47.5.
Yeah, I like that number. I like it to go over. I like Detroit, and I would like them in Survivor if I was still playing. Now, you can re-enter, guys. I mean, out there are the maybe that's what I'll do today. The DraftKings, you can do the 12th week
They're
Survivor.
On the 13th chance. I've already looked.
13th chance.
I thought about, getting back into it, but it was a good long run. So I just kind of feel like why at this point?
Right.
So many players, and they really start bumping up those buy-in pools too.
Right.
But you certainly could.
Yeah, because they still want to end it and still have a good payout.
Right.
So they're not going to let everyone Joe Schmo in per se.
And the pools get a little bit smaller. I saw one on there was like a $500 13th chance, but it was only 10 guys.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I like that. Okay. All right. So Detroit would be a pick of mine today.
Absolutely. I could definitely see that. All right, next game up. We get through it.
For Survivor pool.
You have the Giants taking on the Cowboys in Dallas today, 4:30. 3.5 for the Cowboys right now, and 37.5 is your over under.
So if you are in a Survivor pool, and you are up against it. You've used all your good teams, and you're down to the bad teams, and you need to rely on somebody. I think you can rely on Dallas for survivor today.
Yeah, probably in this spot, the Giants are just
it's a train wreck, and
wheels have fallen off.
Yeah, there's another train. It's like the one. You know how the train goes off the rail? That's Dallas. You know how the train hits the other train head on? That's the Giants. If you can compare the two, I think we have piping in the Ant-Man. What, right, Ant-Man?
I feel like Dallas has a solid home field advantage. Never thought I'd have to talk about the weather in Dallas because they're in a dome, but they're calling for intervals of clouds and sun. And Jerry Jones says the sun's not a big deal.
Yeah.
So
we could have that shadow scenario play out. Yeah, I get you.
Another sun glare game.
How frustrating would that be? I mean, who was it?
I'd be pissed.
I mean, you can't even see the ball coming at you.
If I was the coach, I do coach the Virginia Beach Falcons men's rugby team. And if we played in some stadium with a giant magnifying glass blaring the sun in your eyes, I'd be pissed. I'd go say something. And the other thing is, it's not safe to the players.
Not at all.
To be honest. I mean, if it comes down to player safety, I mean, that's the main. Forget just losing the balls in the sun. I mean, if the guy can't see, and he might not see someone and completely take his head off.
Yeah, you're asking for, a major collision. Two guys maybe never even saw each other. And that's the scariest part, probably.
All right. So Cowboys for survivor for me. Anthony, you could use, if you're in like a new survivor pool or still alive and you happen to have these teams left, you would use Detroit or Dallas?
If you haven't used Detroit yet, then good for you.
Yeah. Use Detroit. All right. Go ahead.
In a pinch, Dallas. I mean, I still wouldn't feel great about it, but something about Dallas and Thanksgiving and the Salvation Army bucket or whatever it's called. And the fact that at this point, if you're losing and you pick Dallas, if you pick Dallas and they're losing, the best part about Thanksgiving is you're probably asleep by now.
Yeah.
All right, next survivor.
All right, Miami's in Green Bay taking on the Packers, -3.5 for the Packers. Over under here, 47.5 as well, maybe achievable also.
So if you still have Green Bay left, I would try to use them. Let's see what their schedule is. The Packers' schedule, as I can get rid of this English Championship Soccer League table up on my computer. The Packers' schedule goes like this. Home against Miami. Then they have Thursday night at the Lions. How about that for a quick turnaround? Packers at the Seahawks. Saints at the Packers. Packers at the Vikings. Bears at the Packers. So really, you need to use them today if you have them left.
Oh, yeah.
Because your next chance is the Bears, and you might not have them left. So just by that reasoning alone, I would look at Green Bay.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
All right. Let's go quickly through the rest of the list. What do we got?
All right. We got the Raiders at the Chiefs on Friday.
If you still have the Chiefs, I think you can use them.
Tennessee in Washington taking on the Commanders.
No play. Anthony agrees. No play.
No.
Texans at the Jags.
You could use Houston if you have them, I think.
You could use them, but with Trevor Lawrence possibly starting and Houston kind of looking crappy.
Oh, so he's not done for the year now? Is that what they're saying? That's news to me.
He's not out for the year.
How about that? A little bit of news flash from the old Ant-Man.
Yeah,
see, that's the content we need. That's the insight we need, Anthony, because we haven't heard much of that all week in the other sports media outlets. Okay, so Trevor Lawrence is a maybe. All right, next.
Cardinals at the Vikings.
Pass.
Steelers at the Bengals.
Pass.
Seahawks at the Jets.
I mean,
if you have the Seahawks,
you know what? I think there's a case for the Seahawks, honestly. That's the thing.
Yeah.
No Breece Hall, correct, Anthony?
He's not. He hasn't been rolled out yet. He's I forget what it was. I have to look it up again. It's something about he didn't feel right. I don't know exactly what it was, but look, if Hall's out, that means the Jets are tanking, and they're still telling Rodgers, yeah, you're still our quarterback, but they're tanking everywhere else. So I guess Seattle at this point.
Let's rewind real quick, because we have our man Kyle Singer tuning in. Where are you tuning in from, Kyle? Go ahead and mention that if you don't mind. I like to hear these random places people are listening to us from. But fantasy-wise, Tua or Love? I mean, there's got to be Love, right?
Yeah, Tua and the weather, even though it's not the coldest weather, it's the storyline of the week with the Dolphins and the cold weather, and I couldn't take Tua.
Anthony, any thoughts? Do you smell? Do you smell a sleeper good night here? Why do I feel like the Dolphins can come out and actually play a good game in a way?
Look, the narrative of Tua is he can't play in cold weather. He's only played in like a few cold weather games, and it's not like it's -10 like it was in Kansas City. And he's still in that playoff wildcard game last year. He still found Tyreek Hill. Now, he's not 100%, but we'll get to our fantasy guys. But I'm worried because no Romeo Doubs. They still have Reed, they still have Wick, and Christian Watson. But I mean, I'm just wondering with this game, are they going to rely on Josh Jacobs? And you are playing. You have two quarterbacks. Which quarterback is going to throw the ball and get more yards and more touchdowns? I'm rolling with Tua. I don't feel good about it. This is very
interesting.
All right, Kyle. I think you got a 50-50 ball there with Tua.
You have a 50-50. Kyle, at the end of the day, dude, go with your gut, honestly. But I'm gonna go with Tua. He's been lighting it up secretly with Johnny Smith and Waddle. And
now Tyreek.
I don't know what happens if Tyreek goes like he did in week 1. I know his wrist has been bothering him, but the thing's still catching one-handed balls and crap.
Honestly, if I win some money today, I'm going to put $100 on Tyreek for 2.
Well,
the other thing is Achan's not even the running back. He's a wide receiver who just happens to line up in the backfield.
Right.
I'm going to go with them just in case, because you start Jordan Love. Now, look, it's like I said, he can get 3 touchdown passes, 1 to Reed, Wick, Tucker Kraft, of course. He could even run one in, but I'm going to slightly favor Tua just in case it's the Josh Jacobs show.
All right, there you go, Kyle. I think if you're looking for a good answer to take Tua, Anthony just gave you all the reasoning for it. All right, go ahead, Dave. What do we got Survivor-wise?
Chargers at the Falcons.
It's a pass. This is an interesting game to me. We'll talk more about this Sunday. Why do I like Atlanta in that game? We'll have to discuss that Sunday. Go ahead.
Colts at the Patriots.
Patriots all day in Survivor. Put all your money on them.
Real quick, folks. Don't put all your money on New England.
Disclaimer, we are not saying to do that.
All right, next Survivor pool.
Buccaneers at the Panthers. Love the Bucs in that game.
I'm passing on this, believe it or not. If I'm not saying the Bucs are going to destroy them, or let alone, or they should win. But I watched that Carolina. I was watching the highlights from that Panthers game. I know the Chiefs pretty much pulled put in the JV team against them. How Noah Gray scored 2 touchdowns. I'm just going to avoid that one for me in a weird way. It's in Charlotte. I don't know what it is, but they played hard. Like I said, I'm not calling for the upset. I'm just avoiding it.
I want to say this, man. My man Baker cannot be denied.
Yeah.
No.
And
they're
Bryce,
motivated.
And Bryce Young is not good. And I think the Buccaneers defense is one where that could be a much improved defense here by the end of the season.
Well, if they could get a little bit healthy, I mean, they are motivated. They can still make the playoffs, and I think they feel that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. That division is very winnable.
Like I said, boys, this isn't a debate. It's just a pass for me.
Understood.
All right, pass for me. Go ahead.
All right, Rams at the Saints.
Pass. Good game. Underrated game, and perhaps a very high-scoring game.
High-scoring game. I do like the Rams. I think the Saints are trash. Unless Taysom Hill rushes for 3 touchdowns.
Well, he could. He certainly could.
Eagles
at the Ravens.
Pass. Good game.
Good game.
Niners at the Bills.
You know what? I did use Buffalo against Jacksonville. I used them early on, just on the premise of let's use a good team out of the gate. You know what? Only one other person picked Buffalo to beat Jacksonville that week. Wouldn't that be completely the opposite now, where everyone in the pool
absolutely
would take them? And that was a carnage week, and one that set me up for victory. This is a good game. I think you're going to get a better effort than what the 49ers gave you in Green Bay. For those reasons alone, no for Buffalo, but you'd think Buffalo would win this game. But this is a good one. Go ahead.
All right, and then or Ant, you got anything on that?
I'm passing. I'm actually just rooting for Buffalo, to be dead honest. I want to see them. I want to see them charge at the Chiefs for the #1 seed.
I do as
and
well.
The Chiefs lose.
I could see it. I could see Purdy for 1 touchdown, Josh Allen for 2. All right, Dave. What else?
All right, we'll finish it up Monday night. Browns at the Broncos.
You can't go against Jameis Winston to kill you in Survivor at this point. So pass.
You can't go against Winston, but right now Bo Nix. I don't know what the odds are. It's not on FanDuel, but Bo Nix is surging. I said this last week.
Oh yeah, he's the rookie here.
Yeah, at this point.
But to be dead honest, I'm hoping to have enough leftovers still to eat it all before the game starts, so I don't have to watch it. although, you know what? Let me not contradict myself too much. If I fall asleep and don't watch it, so be it. But
that's an underrated fun game to me, maybe.
I'll show you a clip of Jameis when this call's over with. He's literally trying to draw this. I think the Steelers. He's literally trying to draw them offside. He's just yelling random stupid things. And the last thing he screams before they call timeout is, "Someone jump offside, please." Jameis is the funnest quarterback I've watched the past couple weeks.
Well, when you have the horses ready for battle, it's hard to go against that.
And now they're going against the. And now they're going against a. Yeah, now they're going against a disgruntled horse in the Broncos. All right, let's go to today.
All right, let's get to the slate today. Bears and the Lions. The Lions are -9.5, 47.5. My official take on this game is this. I think the Lions cover. I think they win in somewhat blowout fashion. But I'm not going to be surprised when the Bears put up some points either, to be honest. I could really see a lot of points being scored in this game. And I mean a ton. And the Bears can help to contribute here. Because I feel like they're trending a little better the right way. Scheming things a little bit better. The key to success for them is a direct correlation. And I told this to Del Grande too. But he made up a good point. This is across the league as well. But when the quarterback runs, they are much, much better, right, when Caleb Williams is running the ball. I think we can all agree, because we watch all the games, the common denominator when they win their games is because Caleb Williams is running the football. So give me the Caleb Williams props on the side of the Bears. I will also look at the Bears team total points over. But this has blowout written all over it. Del Grande said it as well. There will be some tackle eligible pass by the Lions. There will be some backup center playing fullback to get a rushing touchdown. There will be Jahmyr Gibbs still getting into the end zone. There will be Jameson Williams streaking down the field to get into the end zone. There will be Sam Laporta running across the back in line for a touchdown. And the Bears simply just won't be able to keep pace with them. they'll score theirs. These DeAndre's on the Bears side, the rushing prop for Williams, I like. Go ahead and give me the DeAndre Swift receiving yards as well. The receiving yards for all players. DJ Moore is 52.5. St. Brown, 67.5. Keenan Allen, 51.5. Laporta, 40.5. Seems awfully low to me. Oh, that number. 49.5 for Jameson Williams. Cole Kmet is at 31.5. Now, he got back on the field, but how banged up is he after that? That looked bad last week. I can't imagine he's 100% healthy, so I'll stay away from Kmet. The Roma Dunze, 45.5 is actually interesting to me if we expect the Bears to have some success today. I could see that going over. And DeAndre Swift, the guy I was really getting to, just 14.5 for his receiving yard number. Tim Patrick, we still may see more of him today. 21.5 baseline for him. Gibbs at 19.5 seems too low. David Montgomery, I'm just going to lay off of completely today. Although this is the game where he'll get 3 touchdowns. Watch.
Right.
But just 11.5 receiving yards for David Montgomery. The alternate number for guys that I like, and then we can get to your boys here. Swift for 25 plus yards receiving is at plus 205. You don't think they're going to try to get DeAndre Swift the ball away from that Lions pressure? They're going to try to get him out in the flats for sure. If Caleb can get the ball out of his hands and get it to the rookie Adunze streaking across. Adunze for, let's say, 70 yards is plus 245. I don't think that's out of the realm of impossibility. And then Jameson Williams is the game breaker.
Yep.
This could be a guy who scores or gets a ton of yards. Plus 520 for 100 yards today. 110 yards, even better, I like, at plus 730. 125 is a big number. That's 12-1. But, man, the plus 730 at 110 yards does look juicy to me. Also, I mean, how do you not like Jahmyr Gibbs in this game? Also in the receiving game as well. You're getting plus 136 for 25 for him. So if you're going to combine the running backs, I think you have a good running back combination. I mean, you can make a case for every guy on every team today to get 25 yards receiving, to be honest. Do we build a touchdown madness ticket here? Let's see. Anytime touchdown today, and I'll get to you guys here in a second. Anytime touchdowns, Gibbs is minus 160, Montgomery minus 155, St. Brown plus 110, Swift plus 180, Jameson Williams plus 230, Laporta Potty plus 230, Keenan Allen plus 250. That's a good number on DJ Moore plus 250. I think Roshan Johnson's trending the right way, plus 260 as well. They like to use him kind of down top by the goal line. He spells Swift. They got a little bit of a two-headed monster thing going now. Adunze plus 330. That's another thing. The Bears do just play better when they get Swift involved as well. They just are much better. Plus 390 for commit. Caleb Williams plus 480 is a good number. Tim Patrick. If you wanted to do Caleb Williams, Tim Patrick, anytime touchdown, 31-1 today. So $10 will win you 310 just on those two guys to score. In fact, I might go ahead and pop that in myself. Each of the defenses, Detroit 6-1, Chicago 10-1, and Sion Vaki is now 13-1. Man, we clicked him too early, me and Dave Del Grande at 10-1. So don't be dumb. Just go ahead and put more money on it there. When you see the number go in your favor, don't get scared. Get encouraged is the moral of that story. And then 2 touchdown scores real quick here. Gibbs plus 320, Montgomery plus 330, St. Brown 7-1, Swift 13-1 is a nice number for him. Laporta 20-1, Jameson Williams is at 20-1, DJ Moore 22-1, Keenan Allen 22-1, Roshan Johnson 25-1, Adunze 32-1, Kmet 42-1, Tim Patrick a great long shot 65-1. Caleb Williams, 55-1 for 2 is actually an interesting price against Detroit. That might be a straight play just for him for 2. Okay, Dave, let her rip, man. What do you have on this game?
Well, Steve, I think you covered it there pretty well. I have a couple of the things that you did. 47.5 to me is just not enough. I think you could probably move that if you want. If not, just leave it there. I have a good feeling that it's going to get by that. By all means, it looks like it should. But Steve, I think the biggest takeaway, Jameson Williams for me, anytime in a ticket. And if he can get home, we'll probably be looking pretty alive there.
All right, man, what do you like?
Well, the inactives should be posted in the next 10 minutes. Remember, it's always posted at 11:30, but remember this game does start at 12:30 if you haven't been watching enough Lions on Thanksgiving. So make sure you have your lineup set before 12:30 if you have anyone in this game. Look, David Montgomery, he's probably going to play. If those odds for whatever the guy you just said has gone up, that means Montgomery's more than likely going to be active. And against his old team at home, I mean, I don't know about his yards, but Montgomery will be involved. You brought up everybody, and the reason I might bring up everybody and bet everybody is ask you guys a question. What do me, you, and Dave and Jared Goff have in common? Any takers?
This should be good.
Well, I'm glad I asked, and I'm glad you had all the wonderful questions. Yeah, none of us have a win at home on Thanksgiving for Detroit. So is there any extra incentive to have Detroit just beat the living piss out of Chicago?
Right.
And plus, Detroit has never been good. I mean, in my lifetime, I know they had Calvin Johnson. I was, I'm too young. Me and Dave are too young for the Bears standards. But in my lifetime, Detroit's never been good. It was always great to watch. It's a great tradition. So I'm going to sign up for every Lion today. That does not roll out Chicago coming back and having some kind of backdoor cover. I just saw the line drop to 9.5. So there's a lot of money going on them. Anthony Richardson, he rushed for 61 yards. He didn't have a great game against Detroit when they played Indy last week, but if Richardson can get 61, how can Caleb maybe not just get 25, but maybe 40 or 50?
Right.
So I like the rushing yard prop. I was reading the stat line. I don't know much. I haven't played Madden in a while. Literally, this is the only reason I know about cover 1, 2, 3, and 4 and all that crap. But I was reading a stat about how the Lions have the most cover 1 man coverage. Kind of really sets up well for a guy who lines up in the slot like Keenan Allen. And frankly, he's been Caleb's favorite target. And ever since they changed that offensive coordinator, they haven't looked that bad, actually. They've gotten better. They're still not good, but they've gotten better. My last bit with Detroit is no Caleb. What's his name? Khalif Raymond.
Raymond hurt. He's
out. No Josh Reynolds. Josh Reynolds scored last year. It was the final touchdown score of the day, and it looked kind of like garbage time, or at least their last third when they lost to Green Bay last year. So that means all systems go for my long shot, Tim Patrick.
Yeah,
it's happening.
I like
it's happening today.
So I was going to suggest, instead of doing 2 touchdown madness, let's just do touchdown madness.
All right.
Since we have a limited schedule, we're not forcing ourselves to take a long shot on this. Now we can make this a 2 touchdown madness, but for the sake of
let's go with the touchdown. See what
yeah. So Tim Patrick plus 550, first one on that list. All right, Russian prop numbers here. Now I'll get to the quarterback stuff. Gibbs 75.5, Swift 46.5, Caleb Williams 31.5, Montgomery 54.5. If we look at the alternative, man, I love me some quarterback rushing yards. 60 yards for Caleb Williams is at plus 470. 70 yards plus 760. What did Anthony Richardson have, Anthony? He had 80?
61.
He had 61. So plus 470 for Caleb Williams to achieve that. But the 80 yards or more, plus 1120, that is a long, long shot. But, man, all you have to do is kind of break free around the 25-yard line and get all the way to the other red zone, and then you're almost a sure thing to get it. Let's see here. And then quarterback-wise, you mentioned Goff having a bad game last year. 248.5 for Goff, 228.5 for Caleb Williams. And the passing touchdowns for Goff, 3 of them is at plus 320. I kind of like that, to be honest. Goff for 3 touchdowns. And the Caleb Williams for 3 passing is actually at plus 800. That's kind of interesting to me, too, to be honest. I might have to do a 3 touchdown, especially if it's going to be a 47-28 game,
right,
or something like that I'm anticipating. Then both of these guys might as well throw for 3. But 8-1 for Caleb is interesting. I did do a straight small bet on Caleb Williams for 2 rushing by himself. But Tim Patrick will throw on touchdown madness. All right, boys, anything else on this one?
Nope.
I do like the Jared Goff for 3, because if he gets his David Montgomery and Gibbs rushing touchdowns out of the way, not even saying that they may not even be touchdown catches, then you could, like I said, you could just see. It depends on how Dan Campbell feels.
Well, Laporta will get one. The backup tackle will get one, and Jamison Williams will get one.
And then Brock Wright will somehow make it 4.
And Gibbs could receive one at any time. We know that.
Yeah, so I like that bet.
All right, now 4 for Goff. Let's just see that, because that's actually might be intriguing to me too at the end of the day on something. 4 passing touchdowns for Goff is at. Oops. Wrong one. 4 passing touchdowns for Goff. 11-1. So that'd be interesting. A 4 for Goff and a 3 for Caleb would be a nice, interesting little bet by itself as well. So we might have to take a look at that. All right, I'm going to keep Tim Patrick on this ticket. Let's go to the 4:30 p.m. game. Giants and Cowboys. Cowboys minus 3.5, 37.5. So a low total here. We do have the sunshine coming in through the glass, Anthony says. So beware of that, wide receivers. But I will say, and this is dropping now. This was at 1 plus 180. But CD Lamb, just for a touchdown, looks very attractive at plus 165. He's just so due, it's not even funny. He's on the do train, right? Do list. So let's get CD Lamb in the end zone finally. Tyrone Tracy, who fumbles left and right, is plus 155. Rico Dowdle, who Dave Del Grande loves, is now plus 130. So we bought him at a bad price at plus 105. He's plus 130 now. Neighbors plus 220. Zeke 4-1. Wandale Robinson's 4-1. Singletary's 4-1. Shoemaker's plus 420. Cooks plus 480. Tolbert 5-1. Darius Slayton plus 550. Theo Johnson 6-1. Drew Lock 6-1. Cooper Rush 7-1. Kevontae Turpin 8-1. Flonase is 8-1. Let's see here.
That medicine, huh? That medicine again, huh?
The Dallas defense is plus 950. Interesting. Jalen Brooks, 10-1. Giants defense 12-1. I'll list some of these guys off for our long shot. Mingo 15-1. Jalen Hyatt 16-1. Hunter Lupke 21-1. Chris Manhertz 22-1. Bellinger 22-1. Eric Gray 23-1. Bryce Ford Wheaton 29-1. And Amir Smith Marseille, who we've actually played on the show before, 29-1. I don't even think he sniffed the field last time. We bet him whatever week that was, week 5 or 6 of obscure player parlays. 2 touchdowns for this game. And then we'll get to you guys, and then I'll go through the prop numbers themselves. 2 touchdowns. Dowdle plus 850. Tracy 10-1. CD 13-1. Neighbors 19-1. Zeke 38-1. Singletary 44-1. Oh, there's a Singletary sighting. Schoonmaker 47-1. That's an interesting number. Wandale Robinson 50-1. Brandon Cooks 55-1. Jalen Tolbert 60-1. Darius Slayton 70-1. Drew Lock 75-1. Theo Johnson 100-1. Cooper Rush 110-1. Flo Nays 120-1. Dallas defense 120-1. Anthony, no Ferguson in this game?
No Ferguson. It's the old Schoonmaker show again.
All right, so I like that. All right, Anthony, what do you like in this game?
Nothing. Sleep, nap. So DeVito is probably not going to play. If he's not on the FanDuel board, they haven't officially rolled him out yet. But if he's not even on the board, it'll probably be Drew Lock. So temper expectations with, taking Drew Lock, because DeVito randomly shows up and all those bets go down the toilet. If Drew Lock does play, though, that dude likes to fire. Remember him in Seattle? He's just chucking the ball downfield to Lockett. One of my favorite bets he did play for Seattle, right? I'm not losing my mind?
Yeah, you're right.
It was.
I just don't see him as a good quarterback, but maybe you see something I don't see. And yeah, I guess maybe he was chucking it to I remember him having flashes of being okay, but that's about it.
No, he played. I remember him from Denver. That was it. My fault. I'm thinking someone else.
No, he played for Seattle as well.
Okay. Well, anyway,
I'm pretty sure.
I spent 3 minutes looking up Drew Lock stuff, so I'm obviously fuzzy. But he likes to chuck the ball. One of my favorite bets, if you go into the receiving portion of it, is player with a 30-yard reception.
Thedenver and Seattle. He played for them both. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I think he got drafted by Denver, then went to Seattle. Right. Anyway, there's a thing on the receiving prop. Player to record a 30-yard reception.
Right.
And Darius Slayton is staring me right in the face at plus 320. That doesn't mean that Slayton's going to go off for 150 yards, but he is their deep threat. And all it takes is one pass for 35 yards to hit that. That's one of my favorite ones. Yeah, I've never done those before, but I was just scrolling around and I'm like, what if this game? What's the over under this?
37.5. So this could be the sneaky over game, right? That we're all.
It could be. It also could be a stink show. It could be 16-10. But
right. I said 16-13 earlier, but yes.
That's funny. I'm not gonna have too much invested in this, especially since we'll be doing Thanksgiving at this portion. It'll be on, of course, but I'm not gonna be on the edge of my seat with this. I don't mind the Dallas defense. That's an interesting number because Dallas is, for the most part, they stunk this year.
I think you can take all four home teams and round robin them and see what happens.
Yeah. I still think Dallas will pull it off. I mean, the Giants are just terrible. One of the bets I made just now is, and this is kind of it's not a long shot, but all it takes is one play. I was looking at receiving props. Under the first quarter receiving yards, Rico Dowdle was plus 120 just to get 1 yard. Tyron Tracy is plus 210 to get 1 yard. Theo Johnson plus 138 to get 1 yard. $10 wins me 140. So I just did that.
Just on the first quarter?
Just the first quarter. So
all right. So who was that again?
Receiving props, scroll down to the first quarter receiving yards. Yeah. Rico, Tyron Tracy, and Theo. They should all be right below each other.
Interesting.
Indeed.
I kind of like it. Yep. All right. Theo plus 138. Tracy plus 210. And Rico plus 120. All right. I like it, Anthony. I like it.
And then one of my long shots with Tim Patrick is Monte Turbin. He scored the past 2 weeks. He had a receiving touchdown 2 weeks ago, and then he had that insanity against Dave's team, which I know Dave unfortunately remembers. And especially if Brandon Cooks plays, He's like their fourth option. And can you just picture at around 6 o'clock when we're all just laying there, the big old turkey belly, and then all of a sudden you hear is Tom Brady announcing this one?
Yes.
You just imagine Tom Brady's like, super rush, finds Turpin in the end zone. It could be anyone, but like I said, part of my long shot, Turpin's in there.
All right, so on touchdown madness, I guess we'll throw Turpin. And I kind of looked at him too. I figured, I was like trying to do a double take. I'm like, didn't he just score 2 weeks in a row?
Right.
Why is he 8-1? So don't get fooled by the old sports book here. There's a theory that I have too. That, and I know Anthony's made a case for Drew Lock Giants a little bit here, but I think when the sports book, they will try to trick you at times. Like they will give you point spreads that don't make sense. To me, Dallas just should be a bigger favorite than 3.5.
Absolutely.
I mean, they should be more like 6.5 or 7. Again, they're the train that fell off the track a little bit. The Giants are the train that hit the other train head on. A big difference in train accidents. And the style there. So the Giants just so much uglier. It just smells so bad. And then the over-under really stinks in that regard, too.
It does.
I think Anthony's really making a case for the Giants. 37.5. And next thing you know, this is 21-14 at halftime. You're like, why did I bet the under in this game? 2 stink balls. I do smell some weird stuff there. Maybe even a double over for these 2 first games, honestly. The night game, man, I feel like the night game, and we'll get to it in a second, I feel like you can gain a lot of momentum for these first 2 games. Going into this night game, needing one thing to happen, and you're ready to pull your freaking hair out because it's a stink fest or it's 16-13 third quarter or something like that. You're like, Dontavian Wicks, just throw it to him one time, and then it never happens. Let's see here. All right, so I guess we'll throw Turpin on this touchdown list. Dave, your thoughts here?
So I'm kind of there. It feels like a 17-6 Dallas win here. I think at the end of the day, Dallas, even though they're not great, they're certainly better than the Giants in my eyes. So I think Rico Dowdle gets heavily involved. I just don't see the Giants really doing much here. And I know that over-under is very shaky, but, I just don't see the Giants being able to do much. So give me Dallas by 9.5, Steve.
Okay. So you'll take the alternate line here, Dave.
And I'm with you on CD Lamb as well. He's got to show up at some point. Why not against a division rival on Thanksgiving?
I just figure he's so due, man, right? I mean, gosh, he has to be due. Let's see here. So, first off, I'll get to the lines in a second. Our guy Kyle tuning in from Miami. Thank you. And then we got one more question, fantasy-wise, because we just talked about Tua again. Anthony, Tua or Baker? And this is our man, S.A. Winchester, or Jesse with one S. It could be an S.A. Appreciate you tuning in. From Saskatchewan, Canada. How about that?
There you go.
So the round robin lives in Canada, Ant-Man. How about that?
Lives in Canada.
So Tua or Baker? Pausing for our fantasy questions as we will.
Against Carolina, I mean Baker. Baker had an 8. So if we're just on a normal full point PPR, your standard ESPN league, Yahoo, whatever, he still pulled up about 18 points without scoring a passing touchdown. And that was against the Giants. Now they're at Carolina. I know we talked about Survivor, but I mean Baker just got Evans back. Cade Otton solidified himself as a tight end 1, and Bucky Irving gets and Rashad White catches out of the backfield. Something is oddly annoying me about this Packers-Dolphins game. I'm not saying it's going to be a stink fest, but I'm going to take Baker over Tua.
All right, so Baker over Tua and Tua over Love. That's an interesting DNA strand of quarterbacks fantasy-wise. All right, continue on. Let's see what we have. Let's see. Rushing yards, I'll talk about that. 63.5 for Tracy, 68.5 for Dowdle. Receiving-wise, let's see what our low hangers are. Darius Slayton, 23.5. Anthony says he can get that in one catch easily. Schoonmaker, 27.5 seems low to me. Man, that seems low. Brandon Cooks, just 21.5. Jalen Tolbert, 23.5. Theo Johnson, 23.5 seems low to me. Tyron Tracy down to 9.5, low to me. Rico Dowdle, 15.5 seems low to me. Wandale Robinson, 34.5. CeeDee Lamb, 67.5. Malik Neighbors, 68.5. Alternate numbers for these guys. And Dowdle's one I'll look at, plus 186 at 25 yards. I'll have to take a look at Theo Johnson as well. One man's tight end trash might be another man's tight end treasure with Theo Johnson. And Drew Lock, you think we'll at least try to get him the ball. 50 yards at plus 440 for Theo Johnson today. CeeDee Lamb, I mean, he's still got a ton of targets from Cooper. 70 yards at minus 102 for a baseline seems pretty fair. I think CD can have a big game at home. Neighbors is the one that worries me. You know that they're going to try to get him the ball after he complained a lot, right? Don't you see them trying to force him the ball? I think you could throw him on your first quarter yards, Anthony. Sure. Just because they're trying to get him involved. Let's see, passing prop wise for these guys. Cooper Rush, 213.5. Drew Lock, 196.5. So Lock can have a decent day, perhaps, huh, Anthony, huh? 250 yards for him is at plus 320.
If the Giants don't just completely stink, then I'm optimistic, but just temper expectations with Drew Lock and the Giants.
Cooper Rush, 3 touchdowns. Is interesting to me at 8-1. Just because I know CD will get one. I think Schoonmaker will get one. And I think Dowdle could even get one through the air. And if CD may even get 2. Schoonmaker, he may even get 2. The more I look at this over-under, the more I like the over in this game as well. And then Drew Lock for his touchdown passes, just 2 for him is at plus 300. So that's not the worst number just for 2 for Lock. Dave, I mean, what else here?
Well, I just, there's 100 cases of why it could. Dallas defense, they did get a couple of guys back that are big in their defense, and they played a lot better probably than they have in the last couple games against Washington last week. And I just think it's going to be too much for the Giants, now that the Dallas defense, like I said, is getting a little bit more healthy. I can see all the reasons why this game maybe could fly over, but I just really don't trust the Giants to help that cause.
All right. Let's see here. Long shot touchdown for this game. I'll go ahead and name it. Don't you think that there's a kid? Don't you see a scenario where you see Ezekiel Elliott jumping into this big giant Salvation Army pod again?
Thought about it for sure.
Right, Anthony?
I mean, I feel like it's tradition. Even though Zeke has pretty much been rolled out of this offense completely, it's now a Rico show. But on Thanksgiving, that Salvation Army tank, I'm just not only am I going to put it into a touchdown parlay, I'm going to root for it. There's nothing better. Because this might be the last time Zeke gets a chance to do this.
All right, so let's throw Zeke on there as the other guy. We'll throw Turpin and Zeke on this ticket since we have 2 Cowboys with Tim Patrick. Okay. Anything else here?
Nope.
All right. Packers, Dolphins, minus 3.5, 47.5. Now, Dobbs is out, right, Anthony? What other injuries might we have here? Do you have the inactives?
Well, David Montgomery's officially active, so is I'm on Raw.
All right.
But we're not going to get any inactives for the next game yet.
Okay. All right. All right. So to me, what happens in this game, I think Miami scores and loses this game by like 10 points. So 34-24, something like that. A lot of points again, perhaps. I just like Green Bay at home, man. I don't want to go against them. Even the Cardinals are a good team. Look what they did to them, And we think the Cardinals are a bad team. But that's the last time the Cardinals really looked bad. Well, except with the exception of this game at Seattle. But that you got to throw that out as a tough divisional playoff type of atmosphere game. When you're playing free and loose, I mean, the Packers have been on fire. They did what they wanted to against San Francisco. And Jordan Love, I mean, almost did throw a couple of picks, but he didn't. And I don't know. I just feel like that game could have been worse scoring-wise. It was an easy – we had minus 27.5, which, I mean, you guys out there might be screaming, why would we do that? But we took it when they were up 7-0, and we're like, I don't think San Fran has it in them today if this quarterback's going to be this bad. Green Bay is going to score, and that's what they did. I just got to trust the Packers at home in this scenario. But that being said, I think you're going to get the effort, like Anthony says, out of Tua in Miami. I think Tyreek is very live to score a touchdown, if not 2 tonight. Why not get the ball to Achane, too, as well? I mean, let's just get Achane. Let's work this horse in this kind of game. This is when we need him at Lambeau Field. Get him out in the flats. Use his athleticism. So Dolphins get involved and Packers get involved here. I'd hate for this to be a lower scoring game. There really is a good chance we could see 3 overs and 3 favorites hit, which would be a complete disaster for the sportsbook.
Fucking damn it.
I mean, that's what they would be saying for sure. I mean, it would be a complete bloodbath if this goes favorites in the overs. And to me, it just sets up that way. I know the NFL doesn't happen like that. It's not every favorite. It's not the over. You win money by doing the opposite of that. I don't know, man. This Thanksgiving looks a little weird to me in the sense. So give me the Packers on a higher scoring game. Again, I think Miami can put up theirs. I think the Packers can put up theirs. Touchdown scores for this. Jacobs minus 165. Achane minus 110. Tyreek Hill plus 155. I think if you want to put down $100 to try to win like 500 or 600, one touchdown each, CD and Tyreek Hill, and see if you can get that one home. Jaden Reed plus 175. Tucker Kraft is on Del Grande's ticket plus 210. Christian Watson plus 230. Jalen Waddle's been on fire plus 240. Jonnu Smith scores every week plus 260. Dontavian Wicks, the one catch when I needed him most last week at plus 280. Though, if we know Dobbs means more Wicks probably, like Anthony said. Mostert 4-1. Jordan Love plus 500 now. Green Bay defense 6-1. Jalen Wright plus 650. Bill Melton banged up, but I guess he's back, right? Plus 6-1 for him. There's Beckham Jr. Plus 750. Will he ever get into the end zone? Let's see. Anyone else worth mentioning? Our man Durham Smithy all the way down to 29-1 for a touchdown. River Craycraft, another long shotter, 31-1 for him. 2 touchdowns. Let's see. Jacobs plus 340. Achane plus 550. I kind of like that. Reed 13-1. Kraft 18-1. Tyreek Hill 11-1. I kind of like that. Christian Watson 19-1. Wicks 27-1. Jonnu Smith 22-1. Waddle 21-1. Mostert 33-1. Love 46-1. Jalen Wright 65-1. Green Bay defense 75-1. Nephew Dave, what do you like in this game?
I'm with you. I love the Packers at home in this spot on Thanksgiving. Really tough to go against them in this game. Miami, they're going to give a good effort probably. They still think that they're in things here, winning a couple games in a row. So they're definitely going to bring the effort, and maybe they do help the cause for this to get over, but I really just trust Green Bay in this spot. I still think that they have all the weapons that they need to win this game, and I'm going to go Green Bay by 9.5.
All right, Anthony, what do you like here?
I guess I'm more nervous because I'm a Green Bay homer. Well, not homer, but they're my team. So I'll be rooting for them. I am just a little concerned that this is going to be the one game that
they let down,
underwhelms us. I don't know what it is. I hope I'm wrong. I want this to be a shootout. Just something about this game makes me think it'll be underwhelming. However, we don't bet unders here. We go for long shots and we go for the upside, and we're gonna live and die on that grade. So, the two people that I like, well, three people I like. Number one, have you guys even brought up Johnny Smith?
Yeah, I said I wanted to kill myself a couple of times this morning for not betting him. If we would have had Jonnu Smith and Westbrook Akine parlayed every week, we'd be millionaires right now.
Well, I'm going to bet Johnny Smith again. And
how do you not? Yeah, how do you not do like a Kraft Jonnu Smith? How do you not do all the tight ends today in some sort of a round robin?
That's interesting. Six tight end round robin.
Yeah. Throw Noah Gray and Kelsey in there tomorrow too, and Bowers. You can throw them all in.
Right.
But give me Johnny Smith. The dude's been scoring 2 touchdowns 2 weeks ago, touchdown last week. Somehow it's to his favorite target. And another reason I like him tonight, it is going to be chilly, and he's going to be looking for Johnny across the field. The other one I like, and I can't believe I'm saying this over Tyreek Hill, but I like Jalen Waddle again. Dude, apparently he's his favorite wide receiver right now. And the last time Waddle played Green Bay, which was 2 years ago, right around the same time, pretty much almost an identical stat line. Like 5 catches, 140 yards. He had 8 catches last week. But throw me Waddle in. That does not mean don't bet Tyreek Hill to go off, because I feel like there's at least one more bomb week from him. But you can never roll out A-Chain. I got him with high receiving yards. On the Green Bay side, like I said, like you guys said, no Romeo Doubs. It's going to be between Wicks, Jalen Reed, who's actually been a little disappointing ever since that week 1 blow-up game against Philly in Brazil. But I like Christian Watson in this. I like him. I like for him to do a Jamison Williams and give me that long bomb.
Right.
But I know in my 2 touchdowns, I can't not have Josh Jacobson, just in case this is one of those, 24-20 games. And Josh Jacobs gets 2. And then Tucker Kraft gets 1. And we're all like, what the hell? So I'm not firing everyone, but those are my favorites. And guys, I'm going to have to drop off because I just got a knock on the door from the boss. We got to get this turkey moving. There was a little mix up. There was still little frozen pieces in this guy, so I had to do a little surgery on it and really give it to business. Anyway, the only thing I'm going to say with this Chiefs game is I hope that I'm taking a nap during it. I like Brock Bowers. I don't know what the hell Noah Gray is. I believe Pacheco's going to play, so monitor that. He still hasn't been officially rolled active, but Pacheco should be playing. So if you have Kareem Hunt, you might want to get him off your bench.
All right.
Or get him off your starting lineup, just in case. But keep that in mind in case you have both of them. I believe the guy from Super Troopers is starting for the Raiders, since Minshew's been rolled out for the year. Whatever the guy with the mustache. Anyway, I don't know anyone else. Aiden O'Connell, Super Troopers guy. What's his name? Barbara? I think that's his name. Steve, that should be your next screenshot on the board, is having both of them right next to each other. It's unbelievable how much they look like each other. I don't know anyone for the Raiders for running back. Jacoby Myers has been killing it. He's really the only guy to throw to. So him and Brock Bowers. Maybe they'll get some garbage. And frankly, maybe the Raiders could keep it close because the Chiefs are like, wait, we're at home. We're playing this crappy team. But who knows? Like I said, I got to drop off, boys. I got turkey time.
Give me one last long shot touchdown for the Raiders game.
I'm thinking. Hold on. A long shot.
Yep.
A long shot. I actually have to look this up. Chiefs. Oh, it's not on the Thanksgiving play. I have to scroll a little bit. Where the hell is the Chiefs game?
On Friday.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for that insight. Couldn't have done it without you.
I would look at Carson Steele.
Carson Steele.
Well, you should have just asked Dave.
Yeah, all right. We'll throw him on there.
Yeah, that or Carson Steele or Michael Mayer for the Raiders.
All right, there you go. We got one of each.
All right, drop it off.
Happy Thanksgiving, man.
Happy Thanksgiving, boys.
All right. Yeah, man, with his take there. Let's see. Anything else here with the Packer game? I might do a Watson. I'm going to do a few things here. Watson for 2 touchdowns is interesting to me as well, to be honest. What do we have as far as we don't have an anytime touchdown score or long shot for this game. So do we do this? Do we throw Jonnu Smith on there, like Anthony says? But he's only plus 240. But maybe he's the ringer.
Right.
The ringer of long shots, since he's the long shot guy who scores all the time. And let's take his backup that never scores. The guy that we just joke around about. We want no piece of at all, although we played him last year. He has to have a touchdown eventually. Let's throw our man, the other tight end, in there. The guy who's going to counterfeit him, Durham Smithy. How about that? For a long shot. So here's your long shot round robin ticket of touchdown scorers. Tim Patrick, Kevontae Turpin, Ezekiel Elliott, Carson Steele, Michael Mayer, Jonnu Smith, Durham Smithy. If you play 50-cent round robin legs, you'll average out on the 3. You'll average out about 150 a win. I feel like we need to take off. We don't want to wait for till tomorrow to win this, right?
Right.
So we take off Mayer and Steele and fuck with these guys tomorrow.
Yep.
All right. So what we'll do is we'll add in one more guy. Now we'll leave it like this. All right. So now we have. This is much better. Tim Patrick, Turpin, Ezekiel Elliott, Jonnu Smith, and Durham Smithy. That's our touchdown madness long shot. We'll go ahead and throw $2 a leg on the 3-game parlays, $2 a leg on the 5-game parlay. This is just one touchdown each. Can all these guys score? Yeah, they can in one game. All right, $2 wins $54,000. The average 3-game parlay will pay out $850. And if we want to play it for the 2s, is it even worth it? Nah, we'll just go for the 3s. You know, it pays out like $50 if we hit 2 of them.
Right.
We'll just put in the $10. Touchdown madness. Again, these players are, and let me do this live now because it'll never happen. These players, again, Tim Patrick must open the door. But after that, we have options. So if Tim Patrick can score, then it's either Ezekiel Elliott or Kevontae Turpin. And then in the night game, both Dolphins, Jonnu Smith or Durham Smithy. Oh, man. If we're begging for Smithy in, can you imagine Smithy getting in and then we just need Jonnu Smith to score? Again, the average of the 3s is $850. The whole enchilada, $54,000. I would say that's one touchdown madness, nephew Dave, in a nutshell.
Yep.
All right. Anything else on the Green Bay game for you?
No, I don't think so.
And then we'll do the Chief game with the Raiders. Why don't you start with this? What do you like here?
Steve, this is one I haven't looked at much, but I just have this feeling it's Chiefs at home, Black Friday. They had a close game there with Carolina. Maybe a spot for them to kind of get right and pick on a weaker divisional opponent. Give me the Chiefs here, Steve. I'm gonna have to look at some other stuff. But if we want some touchdowns, I'm gonna give Pacheco a week just because he's coming off that type of injury. I would love to take him, but I just kind of want to see him get involved and get some reps out there. Give me Xavier Worthy plus 210 anytime touchdown.
Okay. I like it. Worthy is you feel like the speedster is going to emerge at some point and have a fantastic game. The Chiefs across the board have been kind of quiet.
They have.
Again, they're 2-9 against the spread. Noah Gray gets into the end zone for us twice last week. So we like that. We're going to go back to the well on him. I'll say that. I'm afraid to cover. I don't want to lay 13 points with the Chiefs.
No, I'm not saying lay it at all.
I'm not either. So I'm going to say, take a look at the Chiefs' alternate total points. I think they get to 27 anyway. If they do, and wow, the Raiders get to 27 is paying a lot. All right, the Chiefs to get to 27, that is minus 142. You hope that they get to 31. If that's the case, you get 2-1 odds. All right, so I would play that angle with their team points more than anything. I think that they can score at home. They just something's off with those guys.
It is. They find a way to do it, but
they find a way to do it, but something is just off with them. The anytime touchdown scores, Hunt minus 170, Pacheco minus 170, Kelsey plus 115, Hopkins plus 180, Amir Abdullah plus 195, Alexander Madison plus 195, Bowers plus 250, Worthy plus 250, Noah Gray plus 280, Myers plus 290, Trey Tucker Ford plus 410, Mahomes plus 420, Juju Smith-Schuster 5-1, the Chiefs defense plus 550, and there's our guys Carson Steele and Michael Meyer. If we wanted to combine just those two together tomorrow, 78-1 odds. How about that, Dave?
I like it.
So maybe $5 on Steele and Mayer to score.
Yeah.
I'm going to do all the defenses in the round robin too. I'll start that ticket up. Plus 550 for the Chiefs. Let's see. What other numbers do we have here for Kansas City? The passing props are Mahomes 248.5, O'Connell 215.5. Mahomes for 3 touchdowns plus 260. Just not a good enough price for me to get involved with. O'Connell for 2 touchdowns plus 280. I just don't think I want that at the end of the day either. I think an O'Connell interception, Dave, is the best interceptor chance on the block of quarterbacks this week. I mean, I think you throw Drew Lock out in there as well.
Right.
But besides him, I think O'Connell has the best chance to throw an interception. Let's see. Receiving prop wise, our low hangers are Noah Gray, 20.5. That just seems low. Worthy, 36.5. Seems low. Myers, 51.5. Jacoby Myers. DeAndre Hopkins, 38.5. Seems low. Brock Bowers, 61.5. Kelsey, 51.5. Only ones on the board. Other numbers will pop off tomorrow. The rushing baseline, only thing I have right now is Mahomes at 16.5. You have running back question marks, whether you will get Madison back in there, whether Pacheco will be full on with Kareem Hunt involved still, seeing what he may be limited to now that Pacheco's in there. So the only reason why we're limited in the rushing props there, Mahomes the only available one. 2 touchdowns in this game, Hunt plus 340, Pacheco plus 340. Expect those to move once Pacheco maybe is the starter. He might become a little bit more of the favorite. Kelsey plus 850, Hopkins 15-1, Amir Abdullah 17-1, Alexander Madison 17-1, Brock Bowers 25-1, Worthy 25-1, Gray 26-1. You got 2 last week. Jacoby Myers 29-1, Patrick Mahomes 45-1. Smith-Schuster 65-1.
So we got some interesting stuff here real quick, Steve.
Yeah, what do you got?
Looking through the books, looking at the looking through my book here, looking at the interception play. And I go into this Dallas game to look at the quarterbacks to decide which one I want.
Yep.
I am getting Drew Lock numbers. Looks like he's going to be the starter.
Right. Yep. I expect him to be.
So we got that at least going, so we kind of have a better idea.
Right. DeVito out. Or will be out.
Will be.
Now he didn't even travel with the team from what I hear. And he was going on a separate flight. So that that's oh man. So that injury was holding them back altogether to get looked at or whatever, I believe is the case. All right, so if I populate a round robin of this, Kansas City defensive touchdown, Detroit defensive touchdown, Dallas defensive touchdown, Green Bay defensive touchdown round robin. If I do $2 a leg for a total of $10. In fact, I got to do, just in case two of them hit, is $100. All right, so $2,200. If two of these hit, it's a win of $100. If three of these hit, you're going to get about $1,000, a little bit more probably. And then if all four hit, you're looking at a payout of just over $10,000. In fact, for the IRS wise, I shouldn't say it like that, should I? I'll knock it down a hair. I'm not just. It gets a little confusing once you get over 10,000. So we'll try to keep it under 10,000 for a win. So $9,800 is the payout here. If we do $1.85 on the 4-game parlay, $2 on the threes, $2 on the two. If you're new out there and you want to know what the round robin is, I have these 4 plays right now. So it's Kansas City defense, Detroit defense, Dallas defense, Green Bay defense, all to get a touchdown. And the round robin will pay out like this. If two of the 4 hit, we'll get about $100. It's also combinations of the threes. So 3 of these 4. So one cannot hit. If we get 3, that's great. That's a bigger payout of around $1,000. And then obviously we have the one big parlay with all 4. So it's all these 4 plays at different combinations of 2-game parlays, 3-game parlays, 4-game parlays. That's how the round robin works. The more teams you have, the more expensive it gets. So keep that in mind at the end of the day too. All right. I guess that's about it. Nephew Dave, you want to go ahead and let's do our 2-touchdown sounder. Let's get our best 2-touchdown scores for this Thanksgiving.
All right.
And then what we'll do is come back Sunday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, a fresh interview with Del Grande, fresh morning with the crew, and we'll go through the Sunday slate and hopefully review a nice winning Thanksgiving.
Johnny.
4 weeks. 20 papers, that's $2 plus tip.
Gee, Johnny, I don't have a dime. Sorry.
Didn't ask for a dime. $2.
I give it to him fast and a Rick Bell. It's a jungle out there. You got to look out for number 1, but don't step at number 2.
Utah, give me 2.
And Jimmy 2 times, who got that nickname because he said everything twice, like.
I'm going to go get the papers,
All right, Dave, go ahead and give me your 2 touchdowns.
All right, my 3 guys today, 1 from each game. We're going to go back with Jameson Williams there for the Lions, Rico Dowdle for 2 for the Cowboys, and Tucker Kraft for 2 for the Packers.
That's the Dave Del Grande. He likes all that right there, kind of. He likes 2 of those guys anyway for 2. And a nice payout. What's your payout on that? Do you have it?
Let's see.
If you ring it in,
if you put $5 on it, just straight up, it's $10,700.
Wow. So that's Dowdle,
Kraft, Jameson Williams. 3 guys.
I'm gonna have to play that myself. Okay. 2 touchdown scores for me. Oh man, I mean, I could go a million different directions. I mean, what can't you? I mean, but not everyone's gonna score 2 like we want them to. We do have losing tickets. But if I need to have 2 touchdown scores today, go ahead and give me Gibbs plus 310. I do like your Jameson Williams pick. Tim Patrick is a long shot, 80-1. But Gibbs plus 310 will be on my primary ticket. In a Dallas game, I like Dowdle, but I'm going to go ahead and take CeeDee Lamb. Let's get him in there for 2 today.
I like that.
Not only 1, 13-1 now for CD, so that number's going up. And then also on the primary ticket, and give me Schoonmaker for the long shot there. And then on the primary ticket for me and the Dolphins and Packer game, give me Achane at 6-1. I think the Dolphins get in there via Achane a couple of times. I think he's a game breaker. And then give me Wicks on the longer shot as well. I like Dontavian Wicks on the Packers side. I'll be rooting for all these guys to get in on some sort of a ticket one way or another, including Kraft, including Watson, including Tyreek Hill, somewhere throughout the day. And then tomorrow, just go ahead and give me Noah Gray. I'll be happy with that one by himself. All right, Dave, your best bets.
All right, best bets is going to be I'm going to go with this 4-pick touchdown score. Jameson Williams for 1, so we're heavy on him today. At least I am. Dontavian Wicks tonight for the Packers. And then Rico Dowdle and CeeDee Lamb, Steve. So 4 guys is all we're asking.
All right, Dave. My best bets are take all the favorites and take all the overs. The most public play in the universe. Lions alt line over 47.5. Move that up to the 60s if you want. Dallas in the sneaky over game as well. They'll win something like 31-20, 31-21, something like that. Cowboys by 10, and they'll climb to 50 points. And then higher scoring game tonight where the Dolphins hang in there, but the Packers too much at the end. 34-24, Green Bay. And if it's 38-24, I won't be surprised if it's that score either. And then tomorrow, go ahead and just give me the Chiefs team points over 27.5 as a baseline number for that. And then the Noah Gray touchdown prop as well. Give me Noah Gray receive yards. Give me Devin Achane receiving yards, 25 or more. Go ahead and give me Wicks alternate number yards over. Go ahead and give me Schoonmaker yards over for Dallas. Go ahead and give me Rico Dowdle passing receiving yards over for Dallas. Give me Tyrone Tracy just over 11.5 for him. Dowdle, I would take up to 25. Schoonmaker, I would take up to 40 or 50. Lions-wise, give me Gibbs for 25 receiving yards. Give me DeAndre Swift for 25 receiving yards. And give me Caleb Williams for 25 or even 40 rushing yards for him. And that should do it, Dave. How about that?
How about it? Thanksgiving.
All right. Thanksgiving. A lot of fun here on Thanksgiving morning. What we'll do is come back at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Sunday morning. I'll go ahead and cue up the close. This is the round robin. Nephew Dave, any final words to everyone out there?
Everybody just have a good Thanksgiving and enjoy your time with friends and family, and hopefully we're treated to some good games today.
All right. Likewise, if you're traveling, safe travels. Don't drink and drive. Use your Uber. I'll be my dad's Uber later. My dad can get pounded, Nephew Dave, if he wants to.
There he goes.
I'll safely get him home. But we appreciate you guys tuning in today, all the way from Miami, Florida to Saskatchewan, Canada. Our viewers tuning in with us this morning. Good luck, everybody. See you Sunday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the Round Robin.